Well, always a very moving ceremony, Brett, lest we forget, and something special about that anthem when you're all pumped up and you line up and you've got to face each other and just go through that waiting time. But furthermore to the game now, and Nhill make the 2-hour road trip down the Western Highway, 170 kilometres to Ararat for this huge clash in the Wimmera Football League. Last season, both teams looking for an improvement. Ararat played 12 games with a 5-7 win-loss ratio. Nhill, of course, 11 for 0 wins. Brett, the car trip, mate. You've played a lot of footy around the country. Tell us what happens, the nerves, first of all, with the players, and what might the coach be thinking in that car trip?
There's a range of emotions, I suppose, Tony, but I think the first one as a player is that, as the week sort of progresses, you become increasingly focused perhaps more on the game, and reality seems to hit you as soon as you get in the car and you start driving down that highway and you know what's at the end of the trip, and that's probably 4 quarters of pretty hard footy, and hoping that you can perform well. But as a coach, I suppose the stakes are even higher because reputations are based around wins and losses as a coach. And no doubt both these clubs are keen to improve on last year's season.
And of course, sitting in the car with your mates, there could be 4 or 5 of you. Sometimes it's a bit of a quiet trip, a little bit of music going on, and depending on what happens on the way home, Brett, depending on the result, she's an awesome trip home, or she could be a quiet little trip home with a couple of lullabies going and a few frothies. So, look, the overview, of course. More than a game, it's a community event down here at Ararat, and you enter the ground and the crowd's already buzzing. We're strangers to a lot of people here, and they are to us, but people saying g'day, and you see the chance for the community to catch up with each other on the week and the news of the week, whether it's business, whether it's how the crop's going. The gossip is always a big one, and of course sport, and there's netball for here as well. And Brett, the community equals support, it's a welcoming environment, positive culture, and a chance to chat. How important is that for a lot of the players and also the people around the place, sponsors, supporters, etc.?
Well, I suppose once you get to the football Saturday morning, it's a day-long, night-long sort of social event, isn't it, if there's something on at the club. And I was just having a conversation before with the Nhill president about the importance of the community, and in a town of, I think, 1,100, 1,200 people, there's 500 paid-up members of the football club. So you can see the importance, particularly for those smaller towns, and no doubt Nhill coming to a town that's got 10,000 people versus their own 1,200 or so. It's a big challenge. Yes,
and look, we ventured down. I ventured down to the canteen, of course, and that was open. And you see the people standing around 3 or 4 deep, and they want to have a chat over a pie or frothy. And then, we talk about all these discussions. And then when the game starts, of course, all that changes, and we talk about rivalry and combat and tactics, and it can affect the demeanour for the rest of the week for supporters, sponsors, and everything of both teams. So if we have a look at round 1, Ararat came out and defeated Store by 49 points away. They had an 8-goal first half and a 10-goal second half, and they're better players. So we start to look now at their players. So Tom Mills, number 17, number 18, Liam Kavanagh, of course, Brodie Griffin, I think we've got him down there, and Jake Robinson. We'll mention the numbers are different today because they're in the magnificent Anzac Day Clash Guernseys, so some of the numbers are different to what maybe the spectators have been used to. And also one that you've actually had some close association with over the years, Ben Christodoulou. Christodoulou. See, I'm going to have fun with that one today. So this is his first maiden game, so keep an eye out for number 6. And what can you tell us about Ben? You coached him in a premiership back in 2013?
Yeah, look, Benny came down to Williamstown from Bendigo Pioneers, and I think he played 3 or 4 senior games, but certainly played in a couple of development league premierships. A very fast-running wingman, great link-up player, left footer, extremely skillful, and really likes it when it gets going, a bit harder and a bit tougher. And he's got a couple of other mates that have done a little bit of time at Williamstown as well, so I'll be interested to see how they perform.
And he might be able to wrong foot him. So we see the captains come in now. Riley Taylor, of course, number 2, and for Nhill, number 8, Liam Albrecht. There's a coin goes up. Close look. Umpire says Nhill have won it, so they're kicking to the left of screen as we see it. Bit of a breeze out there too, Brett. I'd suggest maybe a little bit of right to left. Bit hard to tell from up here. We'll see when the game is on, of course. And a bit casual there, old Liam Albrecht there, just wandering back into the teams now. They'll come into their huddles. And Nhill, of course, how did they go last week?
Look, they started pretty well last week, but in the end, Horsham were just too powerful by 28 points. I think the more games they get into these young boys, the longer they'll be in games, and I suppose it's just something for them to really build on this week.
Some of their better players, Brett?
Yeah, Fred Steffen played really well, kicked a couple of goals last week. Matt Kennedy played really well. Liam Albrecht, the captain, led from the front, and Lucas Dullenberg also contributed really well. So, they've got some really good young players. They've got a really good junior program, and they're hoping to see the fruits of that come to the fore in the next year or two.
All right, well, the ground is bathed in sunshine, as we can see at the moment, so we'll keep an eye on some of these matchups as they're moving into position. So also today, bathed in sunshine, I think we're looking about 20, 21 degrees, a little bit of a breeze, as we mentioned. Umpires in position now, and I was asking, is the 666 rule in place? I'm not 100% sure that it is. Doesn't look like it is, so there might be some interesting manoeuvres. So we see the big number 31 there, big Cody Lindsay in ruck, joined by 35 there, that's Matthew Hutchison, an on-baller. 21 there is Jake Robinson, and we'll just catch up with number 3 there, Ben Taylor. Now, of course, there's 3 Taylors in the Ararat team, but surprisingly not related, I'm told.
Yeah, you would think there'd be some sort of a bloodline there, Tony, but obviously different branches of the Taylor family. But it's going to be really interesting, and Matty Hutchison's a really good player, and I see him starting in the midfield for Ararat, so he'll certainly be one to watch. Yeah,
so Nhill have got Drew Schneider in there. We can see we've got the couple of players' numbers to the back of us. So umpire holds the ball aloft. We're on for this huge game. Can Ararat get up and get going? Can Nhill hold them up? Up it goes in the air. A nice tap. Actually tapped it backwards. Interesting, both ruckmen. They're actually coming backwards to go wide. And one of the things to the viewers out there, it's almost a circle. It's an absolutely massive ground this. So Riley Taylor kicking down. Henry Shea, you can see in camera there, just to kick off. So already all the players are on one side of the ground. Umpire throws it in, spinning. Here he is again, Taylor. So he's already kicked up a couple of possessions. Across to Ben Taylor, just a high kick in all over the top. Players crashing willy-nilly. Player on the outside trying to run by Matthew Hutchison. Couldn't get the ball to him. Bit of congestion there. Good numbers. Fatigue might be taking the ground there. Jake Robinson. Nhill are doing very well. Good pressure there. Looked like Matt Kennedy maybe with a tackle there. And plays on quickly. Kavanagh there. Liam Kavanagh just came off the back line to get that kick into the forward 50. Can they clear here? Nhill players going willy-nilly. Lucas Dahlenberg, one to watch. Kicks out. That's a nice kick. Player getting to ground there is Jaron Dahlenberg, and you're with Brett Henderson. Yeah, it just looks to me, Tony, like Nhill certainly had a lot of numbers around the contest at ground level, but just at early stage, they were look a little bit cleaner with the ball and have had more possession. The umpire about to throw it in. A lot of players around the contest. Lovely tap from Nhill ruckman. Ball feeds out to the wing. Oh, it's been intercepted beautifully by Robert Armstrong from Ararat. Handballs over to the big number 27. Tommy Mills kicks a goal. And there's big raps on this boy, Tommy Mills. Big, tall, key position player. Has good family bloodlines, originally from the Euroa area in the Golden Valley, but that was a lovely goal. Is he also the Northern Bull Ants player we were discussing? Was that Tom Mills maybe? Yes. Yeah, so he's also with the Northern Bull Ants, so that's a good goal to get them underway, and we can see on the scoreboard 2 minutes in. So nice little start. It was a lot of work rate. They had to go out that right-hand side of the ground and then work it back in, Brett, to score that first goal.
Yeah, they were really clean around that stoppage, Tony, I thought, and they just seemed to explode from that and, able to get a bit of overloop play.
So we see Schneider on Taylor there, Ben Taylor it is, just brushes off, and there is Schneider applying the tackle, and that was well done. They really stuck like glue to each other there, and he's going to come. Interesting forward entry, just down, but there's 3 on to 1 here, just a fist away. Looks like the Sydney Swans jumpers. Big Kavanagh, he's really instrumental in setting them up. Look, he's run on. They'll get it to him again, over again. Ben Taylor's getting a mountain of it. He's had a bounce on the wing. Out he goes. See that ball's drifted out there, so that's that breeze. They have that player set up. He picks between two. Oh, Robert Armstrong couldn't quite. He got between the two and maybe just took it out of bounds.
Yeah, look, Armstrong's been a little bit influential early too, they seem to be just going a little bit wide at the moment, Ararat. So we're in the exact same position as the last ruck contest. So big Cody Lindsay's going up in the ruck and he wins it for Ararat. But Snyder gets a clearing kick that's blocked. One of the Taylor boys tackled really well there by Lucas Dullenberg, who's had a couple of touches.
Good tackling so far by Nhill. The pressure, Brett, on the ball carrier at times.
Yeah, absolutely. And they're going to kick it long down the line. Hopefully get some numbers there, or a stoppage, and they've got the ladder. So a stoppage for the sides out here on the wing.
That was Darcy Honeyman coming up. He's actually the forwards. They've only got one inside 50 at the moment, and they've got a straight line from that throw-in.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's an overly tall forward line for Nhill. So another throw-in this time, but the young boundary umpire there probably needs to get into the gym and get a little bit stronger. He's coming in a little bit this time.
Nice boots too. Look at
Nice
him.
boots.
Ooh.
Lovely boots. The ball goes in. Ruckman contest. Lindsley again wins it, but Nhill stopped. There at Swans moving the ball forward from that stoppage, and we'll have another one right on the centre wing.
So that's big Austin Merritt for Nhill. Puts his hand up, puts the body in. Look, he protects where that ball's dropped, a bit like Peter Hudson when he was playing. It's going to be another ball up suggested maybe. Umpires let it go. If you don't notice the umpires, they're doing a good job, Brett. So that's always interesting. So up it goes. They push in again, the two big bodies, and umpires called a free, and it is going to Austin Merritt. So it'll be interesting to see if they come in again. He's looking for the handball off. Long way from hand to foot. This could be dangerous. Oh, don't go outside, son. He's having a look. And it is that long kick, but it's just outside 50. He's let up a couple of times, young Darcy Honeyman. Can't quite take it. Two players collide. Away they go now, and they come inside. They're allowed to come inside. They do persist out there, Brett. You picked that up very early. That's a wide kick by Riley Taylor, that was. No one really coming past. Now a player glides by. Can't get him. Alan Batchelor, only light. He's probably just come off race 3 at Moonee Valley, but stabs at it, keeps it in play. Well, the boundary umpires put the hand up. The Nhill players have put the hands out.
Well, it's either out in the full or
Yeah.
it's marked, Tony. I can't see where.
Can't be touched.
It can be just out of bounds.
I think he's calling on the full, right in front of the Nhill coach's box down there. So Trevor Albrecht, of course, the coach, and David Flood, former Essendon champion, the assistant coach down there. Geez, he's let up well, this lad, Darcy Honeyman. He just can't quite clunk them, and they're probably missing that big key, aren't they, to take that big grab up forward.
Big key, or even a big tall down the line to mark the ball so he can sort of control it a bit between the arcs. But at the moment, Ararat seem to be able to turn that over.
So you see it is man on man around the pack. So there's that pressure again by Nhill. It's whether they can win the ball. They can't. Just good tackle again. Number 43 there, Jeremy Weeks. Well done there. Ball dribbles out of bounds. So the good thing for us, Brett, the ball's over this side of the ground a lot of the time. Little boundary umpire, he's earning his keep today. He's going to wander in. I'm always interested to see if anyone sets up behind the ruck. If he gets hold of one of these throws and it goes over the back, it doesn't. It comes forward straight into the hands of good, strong player Matthew Hutchison. He's a solid player too, this one. Darcy Alexander it is. Out, back it comes around the corner. Just a hack kick forward, and geez, he couldn't take that one, Kavanagh. It probably came too easy for him. Strong tackling we've mentioned. Toby Marshall, well done, young man. Because he's an imposing body, Liam Kavanagh. just trots back, and yeah, look at the size outdone there. Poor old Toby Marshall. If he can get it on the ground, he might be able to outrun him. Over the top, is there a man free? That's one of those hospital balls. I tell you what, he's done well. They want to try and push him off a bit, don't they? There's been a bit of that physical. Geez, that fumble's costly. Henry Shea backing up again. Ben Taylor playing pretty much out of the square at the moment. Oh, big clash at centre forward. Umpire's given one. They're off again. Alan Batchelor gives it to Jacob Bates. Goes in on the left and dribbles through. Not something you like to see as a coach. And they've manufactured their second one. They're probably having a lot of the play, but it's taken almost 8 minutes to get their second goal straight on the board. Nill's pressure hasn't been too bad. They're tackling. That seemed to be closing down, Brett.
Yeah, look, what I'd be considering if I was Nhill would be throwing an extra up around the stoppage. At the moment, it's sort of just one-on-one, and there's a lot of stoppages, and if they can actually win those stoppages and get out of them first, get a quicker transition to the forward line, I think they're going to be, better enabled to score.
So just before the ball, you see Kavanagh's centre half back, so he's come right up to that square now.
Yeah, he has, and he's going to try and flush through as quickly as possible. And here they go again: Taylor, Lindsay, Kavanagh, Jake Robinson, and once again they go wide. Tony into that pocket, and they'll set up for another stoppage.
That's Corey Taylor just tracking the ball over.
Yeah.
So throw in now. You see the cars down now on the boundary line and the sponsor signs and people out in the deck chairs. What a lovely day. In it comes. That's a stronger throw. Over the back it goes. Players gliding by. Nhill are onto it though. They're chasing that ball. It's a willing ball. Taylor again, he's having we call him Taylor because there's three of them, but Ben Taylor and Riley Taylor are getting him out. So Kavanagh sets up back there. He's almost, we won't say the quarterback, but he's that general back there trying to give them a little bit of impetus and steering, the architect, if you like. So can we see a switch of play? Matt Kennedy, he's gone off now. There is a player right out by Boy's bodywork, but he's gone over the top. And this will be, let's see now, just coming around. Ararat player, that is a great kick in.
Jacob Bates, I think.
Yeah, Jake Robinson. Now he's gone out the other side. See the wind take that out that side. Player just playing for the ball. Good backup. The Nhill players are probably 2 or 3 metres off. The Ararat players comes through and he's got it again. Tries to break free. He's tried twice. You won't get through, son, Jake Robinson. And they're off. So we're trying a bit of fast play football. It might have come undone for them. Albrecht on the ground, out wide. Schneider just trying to get it, but he's surrounded by Ararat players. Even if he gets it up, it pops out. And here's one of the players we're talking to. Geez, duck the chutney. Schneider pulls him to ground, hasn't got it. Umpire says, keep going, men. Now it comes over Albrecht. He's going to go right back now and across.
I actually like that, Tony. The mark in the back half, where you control the ball, although that kick wasn't good. But I just think they're playing a bit too fast in the back half at the moment, Nhill. They really need to get their hands on the ball and just slow it down a bit.
And I apologise. I think number 6 is Timothy Bone and number 8 is Liam Albrecht for Nhill. Tigers. So we see a lot of these double stoppages, Brett. Now, umpires let that go a bit. And he's pulled another free.
Okay, so Nhill come out wide to the boundary line. The race is on for the football. It's going to be a free kick paid to Nhill, the advantage rule. They've actually moved forward towards their 50. And young
Darcy Honeyman, he's a good lead up.
Lively. Okay, this is their first forward entry. Kavanagh's going to pick it up again. He's going to help rebound with a handball. Another handball over to Summers. Summers to Bates. They go forward. The Swans again. Here's Mills. Kavanagh just doing what he likes. Up forward now. Looks for a hit-up lead. Deep forward. Pressure from Nhill. Fantastic. And they'll get a free kick. Oh, it's been reversed, I think, for a dangerous tackle. Yeah, Bailey Turner, I think, has got the kick now. He was sort of slammed into the ground after he'd been caught with the football. And he's going to have a shot from about 50 metres out directly in front.
Only slight player, Brett. And Kavanagh, geez, he set that up. I'll come back to him. So, yeah, Let's have a look at Bailey Turner. Brett, see what his run-up's like, mate.
It's a nice approach. Turner comes in now. Right foot kick. Oh, he's shanked it. Nearly comes off. Oh, we've got a mark deep forward.
You reckon that's a set play? You reckon they've trained that?
I don't know about that disposal into the forward line, but importantly for Ararat, Mills has got the ball again, and he's probably about 15 metres out on a pretty acute angle. He's already kicked the one goal. Comes in now for number 2, and he makes no mistake. He puts it right through the middle. So Ararat Swans go to 3 goals straight 18. And Nhill with just a 1 entry into the forward 50 yet to score.
Yeah, so they are having a little bit of trouble, and it might not be those high long kicks that works. It might just be that run and carry. I see they've set stronger looking play there. Brody Kramer now is sort of standing in that centre forward position, and he's pointed to Drew Schneider to go down deeper. He could be dangerous around goals. They've got like a straight line and then two flankers out here. He's getting picked up now. Players just shielding their eyes from the sun. That's how good a day it is. Umpire about to throw it up now. New ruckman in is Baden Cosgriff, number 39, for the Rats. And it goes out the back here. Look at there's 3 in a line there of our Rat players. And a player number 1, you see Henry Shea. Beast of the honeypot. The players get attracted to the ball. You leave one out and he's off and running. I'll tell you who I'm going to watch a fair bit here, come back in a moment, is a big pack around that. The wingers on the far side have come in, but on this side are still out. I'd like to see that. There's a lot of scrappy play. Oh, taken high. Umpire says play on, off the boot. Nhill player can't quite get it up, and there's that strong tackling again. And just held on a little bit too long, and could have been a little bit of abuse there. Liam Arnott, so he's going to be brought right down to the 50. Interesting, the last shot by Bailey Turner. Different angle but similar distance, and he just shanked it. So let's see, they should know their ground back to front here. High goal post. Oh, hang on. We'll just go out. I reckon it might have been a set play last time, Brett, because look at that. They've come out here again. He's played on. He centres it now to the lead. Down on the ground, too fancy. Oh, player takes it. Can't push off Jacob Bates. Right in that forward line, 30 metres out, under pressure here for Nhill. Player goes after it. Don't give one away. Umpire says, give it to me, boys. I'll have it. You can see Ararat player just out to the right of screen here. Now Nhill have picked up. Umpire throws. Nhill ruckman gets it, but gives it back. Ararat around the corner. There's a couple of outriders. There's another one that comes out. Has a look. Swings it right back, and the player in the orange boots... Let's see. We'll have to have a look at his number. 23 is Corey Taylor. And I've been told... Let's just see here first. As we mentioned, not related. Oh, could be a left footer. That could be a difficult kick for him. He's lifted the toe too. So he's only kicked the point there, Corey Taylor. First one on the board, and number 31, Cody Lindsay, who is the ruckman for Ararat, his nickname is Rain Man. And for any of you who've seen the Dustin Hoffman movie, that is who he's named after.
He's a little bit taller, Tony.
And yes, he is. And he, I believe, is the cult hero around the club. So a fan favourite. Nice now by Nhill, and there's a strong lead out on that wing, and that kick just got hooked back to the player's advantage for Ararat, and Bailey Turner it is.
And Turner's got the ball, and once again, Kavanagh's just running his own show off the back line. They've either got to make him accountable, drag him back to the goal square, but they can't just let him keep rolling through these stoppages. Anyhow, they go forward, the Swans. Mills attempts that, handball out. Mill really consolidating, looking for the handball. A bit of a scramble over there. They feed back. They're going to go forward again. Ararat deep in the forward line, but it's a free kick to Nhill, about 20 metres out from the Ararat goal.
So looking for the switch, player just pointing there. Then he just goes short. Nice kick. So Can they maintain possession? That's the question. But Ararat are onto them out this side, so it has to go down the line to a 50-50. That's a long kick, actually. Couldn't quite take the grab. I reckon that's Darcy Honeyman again. He's covering a lot of ground in his endeavours there. Tries to apply the tackle. Broke free of two, the Ararat player, and Henry Shea brings it in. Leaves it in the air a long time, and Jake Robinson, who's had a mountain of it, they're going to come diagonally from that far side out to here, quickly onto the boot. And that was Riley Taylor, who's also had a lot of it, and they're going to set up for another shot. They seem to know their patterns, as I said, from that far side diagonally to what we call the fat side. And I've already put a dot next to Bailey Turner as being one of the better players, and there he is again. Didn't like his chances from the 50 after his last go, so he said, well, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll pass it off to Corey Taylor. Now, Corey Taylor is a left footer, and he's on the right side for a left footer. Work that out. And we're only in the first quarter. So Corey Taylor, come on, son, show us what you've got. Deliberate line-up, steps in. You can see the orange boots, orange soles. In he comes. Oh, nice kick off the boot. And that is a sausage roll from the canteen. Well done, Corey Taylor. So he's got his first on the board. And just starting to get away a bit here. 4-1-25. What are we, 16, 18 minutes into the first quarter, and Nhill haven't scored, and they just might want to get a wriggle on here, just put the finger in the dike and stop the dam from opening right up.
Well, yeah, and I've spoken about it before, like Kavanagh's just running off and basically getting an outnumber, forward of the back half, and that's why they're creating loose men all over the ground. They've just got an outnumber. They've made it into an 18v17 game.
So have a look now, just exactly what you're saying there. Liam Kavanagh's actually bought himself the luxury across to a half-back flank. When he gets the ball, you know what you're taught in junior footy? Give and run off to the next position. And you watch when he gets it, if it actually gets back that far. So they're coming out to the wing now. Too much space given. Player caught up in the tackle, but they've got support. This is Ben Taylor. Again, they go out wide. Too far this time to Corey Taylor. And it will be a kick in for Nhill. Now, will they switch? He's looking. He needs support, but the players are covered. So he's bounced back into the goal square, puts it to grass, and says, run onto that, boys. It's outside 50. I've taken it with the one hand. Snap around the corner. How good was that? Look at the numbers there. Too much space. Player running through now. Now they gang up on him, and he throws the ball out. Umpire says, let it go. Player hurt down there for Nhill. We'll keep an eye on that. Schneider's back up on the ball. He does give them a bit of drive, and that's a nice kick forward. Can they get it over the back here? Oh, just getting a foot to it. Henry Shea fortuitously bounces up. Guess who? Oh, he's in trouble. He's passed it to the Nhill player. Get up, son. He can't get up. Kavanagh can't get it up. It's a paddle forward. Nhill, can they get it inside 50? No, they cannot. Got a bit excited. 39. Baden Cosgriff. Out it comes to the wing, but they've got it back, Nhill. They're going to load up again. A player free in the middle doesn't spots him. That'll do. No, it won't. Umpire says, throw it up on the far side, Brett. It's getting a bit exciting for Nhill now. I think that was James Crowhurst. Couldn't quite get the jukes on it.
But he did the right thing, and the side did the right thing by playing through him, because that's who Kavanagh is playing on, but it's not. So, he's going to be the loose player.
Bit of volleyball.
Here come Nhill again, trying to push into the forward 50. Ararat, try and run the ball out. It's a bit of a scramble. Handball, but he's dropped the ball. Okay, and they're away now, Ararat, through Robert Armstrong. Armstrong tries to take 2 or 3 on. He gets the ball to Jake Robinson. Robinson out wide to Summers. Summers tries to drive Ararat forward, but they are repelled. But once again, Armstrong picks the ball up. Taylor gets the football, looks inboard. Okay, defensive 50 for Nhill. They're in good shape and they get what's needed, that first mark. And I love this play. They've gone inboard to young Crowhurst. Crowhurst goes forward again. The ball in the half forward flank for Nhill. They go in a 2v1. But once again, Ararat are going to repel the ball and come across the face of goal.
Look at Kavanagh. He's run from that kick. He's hunting that ball. He wants it.
Brodie Griffin kicks to centre half back. Matthew Hutchison goes forward. Ball doesn't sort of hit the target, but once again they get through here, Ararat. Riley Taylor now out in the wing. He's got a chance to beat the Nhill players here, but they've responded well.
Angus Wheaton, well done.
Wheaton did really well, and they come forward. Ball on the half-forward flank, but guess who? Kavanagh again, just reading it. Goes to Armstrong. Armstrong looks inboard. Goes deep. Taylor. Been very lively. Matt Kennedy now for Nhill. Handballs backwards. Ball's kicked again, but once again, Kavanagh's just having a field day here. They've just got to have to do something about this.
So Kavanagh goes inside and he just trots over. Must be getting towards the end of the quarter, but he still gets it back. He's just hasn't got the pace he had earlier in the quarter. Just a bomb forward, and Nhill have stood up at times down here quite well. They come wide. It's a long way home, but as you said, Brett, it's possession football. They've got the runners coming past. The only trouble here, if you go boundary side, you do get squashed up against the boundary. Bit of indecision there. It's a long left foot kick in. That's a nice kick, and he tried to take that on the chest. He crunched. Geez, he's hurt. The Ararat player there, he's got back up now. They come out there. It's a bit like circle work. Ben Taylor again puts it out in front on grass to Liam Arnott. He's got time, gets around one, another. On the left foot, have a look at that kick. Try and call that. There's the Aussie rule there. Jacob Bates now comes inside 50. Oh, how's your fingers there, son? Picks it up now. Nhill, I don't mind this. They actually use the ball possession. Bit of keepings off. If you can play a bit of tempo and out on his own, he's waited for it to bounce his Schneider. Get it inside 50. He's been caught up to quite quick. Well done there by Ethan Summers to corral. Gives it to the free player coming past Schneider. Bumped as he kicked. They're inside 50. Could this be a big shot on goal? And I tell you what, he's off and celebrating. And I reckon let's just wait and see. Get the call right. And that's a nice goal to Nhill. I reckon that could be James Crowhurst, but let's just wait for him to turn around because he's having a spell with the 35, is it? Or 33. Is that Wallace Wheaton? Jordan Gurry it is, who was in long sleeve early in the day at 25 and swapped to 35, and he's up the sheet a bit. And Jordan Gurry, you absolute champion, you've got your name on the board, name in the paper, the name on the app, and they are away, Brett.
Well,
much needed.
Started through a bit more of a slow play, kick mark style, not going a million miles an hour, not playing that pinball football. And they were able to sort of pick apart the Ararat defence and provide themselves a bit of opportunity. So I think that's their template moving forward. Ball in the middle. Lindsay taps it out to Ben Taylor, who sprints through the middle. Has a long shot on goal. Oh, it's fantastic football. Mills has marked it basically at the top of the square, and he'll be going for third goal. And that was just brilliant play out of the middle. Beautiful tap from Lindsay to Benny Taylor, and Benny Taylor's just hit Mills right on the chest.
Bit disheartening too, the answers coming so quickly.
Yeah, it is a bit of a drainer when that happens. It worked so hard, Nhill, for that first goal, and Mills should not miss this. And he kicks it straight through the middle. And the scoreboard now reads Ararat 5 goals won, 31. It's actually Mills' second goal. To 1 goal, 6, third goal, sorry. Yeah, I thought he kicked 3.
Wow.
1 goal, straight 6 for Nhill.
So both midfields meet together in the middle, have a quick chat about things. Let's see if they can execute the tactics. So I don't mind Schneider there, number 3. He's a bit of a goer, and he's picking which side. I always say, do you have a favourite side to stand? And he's picked it, and he's squashed right up there against Ben Taylor. Guess who gets it out, though? Taylor. He wasn't on Taylor, he was on Ben Christodoulou. So into that pocket they keep going to, down that end of the ground, scrambling for the ball. That is desperate. Taylor's just hung off that and waited for that handball to come out, but this player's been very impressive as well. Bailey Turner, he popped it up high. Geez, he's marked that, I reckon, on one arm in between 2 players, and that's Matthew Hutchison. Squares the ball up. That's a great lead out. And round we come again. And Tom Mills has kicked 3 in the first quarter. We're 26 and a half minutes in, and he's lining up for his 4th. And they need to plug a pretty big hole here. I do like what you said, though, Brett. What's the answer for Nhill? Is it the run and carry and keep it low to the ground, keep it away from Kavanagh as Mills comes in? Put that a little bit, yeah, that's straight through over the umpire's head, and he has 4 for the first quarter, we'd have to say that is a very good start for Tom Mills. But being fed well, we'll keep an eye on Brett, his leading patterns as well. Like, does he just run to the middle of the ground? Does he come out to the fat side? Probably 60% of their attack has been down through the middle or out this right-hand side. The odd couple of times they have gone out the left, so they've got the flexibility, if you like, to go there. It's interesting off the back line, though. They'll go anywhere here. And Kavanagh, once again, we keep talking about him, but he's centre-half back, but he's actually lining up over this side of the ground on young Crowhurst. So through it goes again. See the Nhill players, 3 of them then chased, and poor old Ben Christodoulou couldn't get it up as the siren's about to blow as they come forward. And just a nice little one-hand grab, Luke Spalding. So we see our quarter-time score is 6 goals, 137 to Ararat, and Nhill a 1 goal straight, 6 points. So we're going to quickly have a chat with the president of the Ararat Football Club, and that is David Hosking, just coming in as players go to the break. So certainly a very good start by Ararat Football Club and Tom Mills. So I'm joined by David. First of all, welcome David to the commentary position, and thanks for joining us at quarter time, because we know you've got a function at half time, which is fantastic. First of all, your recruits, Tom Mills, Liam Kavanagh. Tell us a little bit about them.
Yeah, so Mills has been with us for a while, but he's actually a Northern Bullants listed player, and we're his home club, so when he's not playing with the Bullants, he plays with us. Liam's a bloke that played all his junior footy with Ararat, and it's probably about his 2nd or 3rd year of uni. I think he went down to Melbourne and had a bit of a run with the Box Hill Hawks, and we put the acid on him about the middle of last year to come home and try and help us out to celebrate our 150th anniversary.
I'll tell you what, very good recruiting, because he's had a very good quarter. We're talking about with junior footy, you know, you give the ball and you run off to the next position. He seems to do that a lot, and he's not actually lining up at centre-half back at times. So sometimes you get a stronger player on a just, with all due respect, just a flanker, and he can do what he wants. And he looks to be a bit of an architect, like he'll set up and then drive the other players and kick the positions, and he's not afraid to run down. Does he like kicking a goal as well? He doesn't mind running down the ground.
He's always been fond of a goal, Tony. But
got to harness him a bit.
He said he sort of does what he likes. He does. He is the backline coach, and he does have a bit of a free rein, I guess, to do what he likes, and you can see that as he's positioning himself.
And Tom Mills, as you mentioned, mate, I hope their Bull Ants are watching this game, because he's kicked 4 in the first quarter, and we're going to watch, especially down this end, some of his leading patterns. You know, does he go the fat side, up the middle, round the other side? And I guess if there's other teams in the comp that are watching the telecast or replay down the track, you know, they might want to pick up on some of this. Tell us about your coach. So Matty Walder, 3rd season, yep. Victoria, New South Wales, Queensland, been a bit of everywhere.
Been everywhere, Matty, no doubt about that. I think he's originally a Mildura boy.
Okay, strong league, yeah.
Yeah, but we first became aware of him, I guess, when he coached Warwick against us in a grand final back in the early 2000s, and he coached up to a premiership. It's fair to say we were favourites that day too, so he coached...
Oh, hello.
Yeah. He's coached up in Queensland and also in New South Wales, coached the Wagga Tigers, I think, also to a premiership.
Yeah, very strong.
So we were pretty happy when we managed to snag his services back in late 2019, and of course missed 2020 with COVID, and last year was a bit of a rebuild, I guess.
Yeah, 5 and 7.
Yeah. And Matty, I think it's fair to say we had an average list, and he got the absolute most out of them, and he was really, really good with our young kids. Very
good, and we'll come to that in a moment, but the expectations for 2022 being a full season, you've prepared well?
Yeah, look, I think we've got a strong list, and as I said, we've got the right coach.
Good. Yep.
And I think, you know, you guys have seen the first quarter. I think you'd agree they play a pretty attractive brand of footy. I think the first quarter, I think we're a bit fumbly today, and it was a bit scrappy. We'd like to tidy that up a bit, but I firmly believe we're on the right track. with the way we're doing things, with the juniors and everything else.
And with that, the feeling around the club, the culture and the environment, you've had some players coming back, yeah?
We've had a lot of players coming back. We've had a lot of players, good numbers at training. There's a really good feel, like socially. We've had, quite good numbers at our functions already. There's just a really positive vibe around the place. It's good.
Well, let's talk about your junior team. So you've had strong juniors the last 8 or 9 years. The focus changed a little bit as well around development of footballers and multiple positions that they can play.
Yeah.
We had that discussion last night. And
we did. We've changed our focus a bit away from winning the game, and rather we've changed that onto developing the players and developing players that are not one-dimensional. They can play in multiple positions, forward or back or through the midfield. They get used to rotating, so that when they come up into the senior ranks, they're not one-dimensional. If there's a gap in the half-back flank, well, they can fill that. If they need to go forward, they can fill that. And our view is, if we do all of that properly, then we'll probably win anyway.
And your swing man is a very important player to have, and I think Kavanagh's shown that he's named in one position, but he goes down forward, and if you can kick a goal. 2 very important events. So the first one?
Yeah, well, look, it's our 150th anniversary. Technically it was last year, but we held the celebrations off because of COVID. So this year's our 150th anniversary, and we're having quite a few functions. So we'd ask all of our supporters to follow that on the Facebook page. There's not many clubs in the world actually that are 150 years old.
That's
so it's
massive. You haven't got anyone from the first year coming back, obviously, or relatives of maybe. And in the Wimmera League, quite successful.
Yeah, we have been, particularly through the perhaps the 1950s was our most successful period, and I think we've won the flag probably 10 or 11 times. But I think we haven't won one now since about 2001, and that's too long. We need to get another one on the board.
And of course, the second thing that we want to discuss, a very important event coming up.
Yeah, we do. We've got our annual ball on the 7th of May at the Ararat Town Hall. And this year, every year it's a big one, Tony, but this year hopefully we've got extra reason to celebrate, which is our 150th birthday. So we encourage people to book their tickets. Just go to our Facebook page and click on the link, and they can purchase their tickets. If they do that on the Facebook page, it'll be $10 cheaper than if they buy it at the door. Oh,
beautiful. We might have to make a move, Brett. And sponsors, a very important component as we see the teams break out so quickly. WFI Insurance, Ararat RSL, Western Quarries, KFC, Ararat, Foster's Men's Land and Intersport. So integral in a community club and a country club to get your sponsors around. David, thanks so much for joining us at quarter time. Go off and prepare for that function at half time, mate, and we wish you all the best for the rest of the season. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Tony. Appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, so fantastic to hear from David there. A bit of a wrap up, and Brett's got some notes from the Nhill president that we'll discuss at half time, and we're going to come back to the game, of course, now with the quarter time break, and it was 6-1, 37 to 1 goal straight, and Tom Mills, of course, with those 4 goals. Better players, just very quickly, Brett, who have you seen?
Ben Taylor really impresses me. His work out of the midfield, he's on the move, he's class, he uses the ball well, and obviously Kavanagh as well. And the umpire comes in to start the second quarter. Merritt and Lindsay go up. Lindsay just wins it, his own ball, drives it deep forward towards that man Mills. He doesn't mark this, it hits the ground. There's a skull, he handballs out beautifully. Another handball across to Armstrong. Armstrong probably uses one too many. Okay, it's a turnover now. Nhill trying desperately to get out of the back half. And we've got Lucas Dullenberg again. He just finds that mark that they need in that back part.
Yeah, so it was good. Liam Albrecht, the captain, now goes across. So they're going to zigzag. They go out, they go in. You call this tagging in the America's Cup. Gives it back now. That player's run on the captain. Just that one fumble can be costly. A little bit of space there, but it's turned over. And Jake Robinson, who's had a mountain of it, gives it back. Schneider, I keep talking about him. Just popped it up and allowed the player to run on, the gloved one. And I reckon that's Timothy Bone. Geez, he's come right across, put the big jerks out, the Nhill player. That's a nice kick, but he kicked it to a contest, unable to take it. Ararat streaming forward now through Brodie Griffin, and look at that kick. And, geez, he liked that, Tom Mills. He stood in the space there. He had 3 or 4 metres. what we call time and space. When the kick comes in from 30, 40 metres away, you're just not going to make up that space. So he's really giving the forwards a run around. We've got a great view of him here. I reckon the wind just about coming over his shoulder here, a little bit right to left. He puts it up. He's a nice kick at goal. He's given it plenty of height, but he's got his 5th for the game already. And that player that brought that in, Brodie Griffin, contested that grab and just hit the ground and took off straight away. And it was almost a deer in the spotlights. A couple of players just watched him and away he went. Beautiful kick in. Mills all on his own. I don't know that he's got a sweat up out there yet, Brett.
No, but I think the issue was, and I like the transition from Nhill there, and it looked good, but unfortunately both their players sort of gravitated towards one Ararat player. They should have spread it, given the kick a bit more of an option, and then, you know, I feel for Mills' opponent, he's gone off to make position. I probably think the ball's not going to come back, and Mills sitting there by himself, and it might be time for him to drop another defender back, just in front of Mills. Ball goes up the middle. Merritt and Lindsay again. Both of them have a hit at clean air, and I think we'll get a restart. No, there's a quick kick out forward for Ararat, and it's that man Mills again, but this time he's about 55 metres out. He signals he's going to go long. He does so to the top of the goal square, and it's a mark again for Ararat. Nhill defender's just a little bit undersized, and it looks like we've got Jordan Cox is going to go back and have a shot on goal.
Poor old Nhill player there. I reckon it was Mitchell Jones. No, it was Wallace Wheaton. Just dropped the shoulders and walked off. And I thought, oh, geez, the body language has started already. Bit of the hands on the hips by players, and comes in.
Comes in, has a shot on goal. Cox, and it looks like he's put that straight through the middle. And now Ararat go further ahead. They go to 8 goals, 149 to Nill's 1 goal, 0-6. And I suppose for the Nhill boys, the positive is that when they've got it in there deep, they've been able to score. But at the moment, it's just a possession out of the midfield team.
Yeah, and look, you know, we put our coaches' hats on. It's easy here. There's 200 other coaches behind the fence today, of course. But you know, you and I have been through the coaching ranks and different things. It's not our place to say, maybe, you know, oh, you should do this, you should do that. We don't know the players that intimately, but we'll call things as we see it. And you see here to the left of screen, they've got pretty much Ararat in a straight line from the goal square through to centre half forward. There's probably only 10 metres width-wise between two flankers, or a flank and a pocket here. It's just a straight line, which allows Mills to then move out into space which either side he wants. So up it goes, puts in a good leap. Merritt couldn't get it out. That man again, 35. Hutchison's getting a lot of it in the middle. Schneider goes out that side. That's twice now, so that may be a set play. They're going out that side to load up. The fumbles are costly, and they, oh, geez, he took the player. Umpire let it go. Not our place to umpire either, but we will. And second one doesn't get away with it. So straight on they go. Liam Arnott goes outside. I always worry about that outside handball, because you squeeze yourself up against the band, right? Or like this, you put yourself under pressure. Players gliding by, but there's been a free. Now, Nhill can load up. There's a player free in the middle of the ground. I don't know that they're going to get to him, though. He's actually in good position. So they go straight down the ground. Nice lead up. Oh, and taking the grab. And I've been impressed with this guy's endeavour as it goes over the back. Is that on one hand? A Kavanagh. He's come out the other side. You watch him run on here. No one with him. So he's going to run just over here to the flank. The players, they almost do that little bit of a Clarko's cluster, the Nhill players, and did pick him up. Cut it off, but of course it leaves Ben Christodoulou free. Wheels around on the left foot, as you said, Brett. He's really waving the players to come forward. Puts it over the back, just waiting for that. Didn't get through to Robert Armstrong. So Nhill player, the difference there, the Nhill players are giving off, and look, they're just standing still after they've given it. Whereas you watch them run, they're running in swarms here. Saw the player out the side of his eyes. Mills a long way up the ground. Puts a handball just into space. Not really to anyone's advantage, but he's a good player, Matthew Hutchison. Just really well balanced and strong, isn't he, when you look at him? That kick comes in. Jacob Bates calls the player forward, and the player honours the call. And he called in Riley Taylor. How handy to have a Riley Taylor who's an on-baller, also playing in the forward line. So they got the football smarts, Brett, up forward.
Yeah, look, that all started back, Tony. I mean, Kavanagh released the ball wider by foot, but then he ran on to get the football, and he was probably never going to get it, but he opened up space in the middle of the ground. They've just able to utilise that space. You know, I suppose the win for Nhill is that they've been able to get Mills further up the ground, but these other smaller forwards are starting to pop up.
So Taylor's just kicked his point there. So they've kicked 2 goals, 1 for the quarter. Wait for the scoreboard to tick over. 44-point margin. Now, most teams, this is interesting. The fullback kicking, we've only seen 2 for the day. Didn't give himself much room there. Got the kick down. Number 17 is Angus Wheaton. He goes down to the wing, 2-on-1. Kavanagh's there, puts the big jukes up. The Rocket Gibraltar. So let's see what he does, and does he follow it up? So he gives it off, pushes off 2 players, puts a Nhill player under pressure, taking it one-handed, but good tackle there, dragged the ground. She's on. You watch the fight, I'll watch the footy, as Liam Albrecht. So Albrecht goes wide. They're not outside the 50 yet. Oh, Bone around on the left foot. Timothy Bone. But playing in front, so that allows Nhill to go forward. But, gee, that's a high kick down there. Players can't mark. They wrestle it out. They go forward again, Nhill, but come undone. Oh, and away they go. 1 player off, 2 player off, pushing off, going down, but put it to grass. This is Matt Kennedy. Quickly to foot, player advantageously in front. Little bit of space, gets caught up. They're on that far wing. They're doing it the hard yards. Oh, player under pressure there. Wallace Wheaton, and just turns it over. Comes inside, nice kick, Brodie Griffin, wide again.
Lindsay now marks it, but guess who's probably going to get it by hand? He does is Kavanagh. Kavanagh goes out wide to the half-forward flank. Contest is on here. Cox in front for Ararat, uses his strength, goes forward on his left foot, misses his target. Ball dribbling towards the boundary line. It looks like we could have a stoppage here, and the umpire's going to blow his whistle and decide to ball it up. Probably about 70 metres from the Ararat goal. So Lindsay and Merritt are going to go up in the ruck here. Been really good and influential around the contest, the Ararat mids. Once again, you're going to get first hands to it. Taylor kicks it forward towards that man Mills. Doesn't quite mark it. Ball hits the deck. There's a bit of a stoppage looming here, and the umpire blows his whistle and decides once again he's going to ball it up.
So ball up just on the half-forward flank here. Ararat's end. Up it goes to inside 50. Mills charging through like a bull there. Geez, there's a lot of numbers around that too. And down it goes again. Players pushed around there on the ground. Well done. Right at the bottom of the pack there was Drew Schneider. They've come inside. Oh, put the one hand up. And Brodie Griffin's starting to really influence the game as well. Look at that penetrating kick, and just about, if it's too hard, son, let it go. That's what we used to say, Bailey Turner. And he's received the free kick, and I'll tell you what, he's turned around, he likes it. No, he's kicked the 3-on-1, and that's having faith in your forwards, Jordan Cox, and there's a 50 that'll become probably 20, because unless that player for Nhill wants to go back into the car park, he's pointing to the umpire. I don't know where he's pointing. I should be standing back there a bit further. Fred Stephen, and in he comes, doesn't put the hands up, he's still talking to the umpire, and the player there was that Cox. Who was that? Cox. He's got his second, so they go further ahead. Of course, 9-2-56. They've kicked 3 goals, 1 for the quarter, and Nhill haven't worried the scorers just yet. We are 9 minutes in. So what we may see now, Brett, is already, with this heat, 2% of dehydration, and you start to see skill errors and thinking errors. As we see number 61 come on. We haven't got a number, a name for that. We'll find that out in a minute. So Jeremy Weeks, who was 43, is now 61, comes onto the wing.
You'd hate to be a kid with your favourite player's number on his jumper, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Mum be sewing numbers on left, right and centre.
Bit of change, Velcro. So look at the ruckman get set, charges in. He hasn't lost the enthusiasm, Austin Merritt. So Nhill, player held on to for a long time, and the umpire says, I can hear you, Mr. Commentator, and gives it to Toby Marshall. Gives it around to Drew Schneider. but it's that up and down kick gives the opposition. Or player's done a hammy here. Liam Arnott's just going to take himself right off at the 50-metre line. I reckon he's not good at all, so he might be out for the game. Oh, well done. I keep talking about Schneider. I don't mind him, but he's one of those solid nuggety type players. But geez, you reward for effort, as we see number 34. So I think Liam Arnott will be out for the day now. Done the hammy. So he'll come off, and I was just mentioning that about the 2% dehydration and fatigue. So with fatigue, you'll see a lot more players like this around the ball, and they won't be backing up, getting to the next play as much. So 3 players in a nest. Schneider it is again. Screwy, forward. Player running on there, Jared Darlenberg, trying to get numbers up there. They now chase outside. Now, they do this a bit. They come diagonally. Ben Taylor across. Played in the back line, so we haven't mentioned him much. Nice kick, high kick into the forward line. Mills just protects the ball drop. He's got a race on now. Might beat him. No, it doesn't. Apparently a bit dewy out there. Gets the handball off to Cox. Quickly over. A player left on his on too close to goal. Bailey Turner. And I'll tell you what I liked was almost a little bit of the harms incident there. Tom Mills ran down. There's a blue on.
I think the Nhill boys starting to feel a bit
yeah, and it's no good being tough after the whistle's gone. You've got to be tough when it's your turn to go.
Another kick here, I think. It looks like he's going to get another shot on goal, so that's really going to...
That's going to hurt, isn't it? Timothy Bone just arguing with the umpire there. We won't say... I don't know who it was against, but we will say Angus Wheaton is on the mark. And is this 29 again? So yeah, Bailey Turner, who kicked the first one, he's now kicked the second, and our player just comes in. And will that be 2 goals in a row?
Yeah, definitely.
What do you think it was, Brett? Yeah.
Two in a row. So he kicked the first one, and then obviously there was a little bit of stuff going on down that goal screen, and the umpire decided to give him another kick.
Well, you know what? Well done by the umpire. We say it's a man's game, and, you know, you've got to be tough and everything, but it's no good being tough after the whistle's gone or score like that, and it'll be costly. And, you know, he's left on. The thing with this, I've been in this situation in a club where we didn't win a game for 2 years, you know, but this kind of situation is, okay, you're still out on the ground, you've got 5 minutes to make it up to your teammates. So do you push a bit harder, do a bit of gut running, do something, get a touch, and get your head back positive again. Don't dwell on the negative. And the poor bloke's on Mills, and Mills is going to run up. You see a bit of this. He's run up to the wing now. And just as I mentioned it, there he is. He just took off and started sprinting. So he's going to deliver it inside the 50 and move back in. And the Nhill player just can't keep up with him. Up it comes, unable to get to it. And that's a good grab, Jeremy Weeks. Interesting with Mills, heard that before with being a Bull Ants player. He's come back to the club so much fitter. And you can see that in the way he's playing today. Just puts it to ground there, Darcy Alexander, and it's a little bit of the men versus boys sometimes. They look a little bit physically stronger, with all due respect. The Rats over the Tigers.
Yeah, okay, so ball half forward now for Ararat, and they drill the ball forward. I think it's Hutchison. Okay, and he's got the loose man. It's running about 35 metres out, and we'll have a shot on goal.
The overlap, Brett, Essendon started that back in the 80s, almost like you have an extra man on the ground. Just that run and overlap, yeah. And you see that diagonal use of the ball again. They love, the width of this ground is massive, they use it.
Yeah, absolutely. The captain, Riley Taylor, now coming in for his first shot on goal for the day. Deliberate approach, kicks it, and it's gone straight through the middle. So Ararat now moved to 12 goals to 74 to Nill's 1 goal straight 6.
Well, they've kicked 6-1 this quarter, and that's what they kicked in the first quarter. It took them 25 minutes in the first quarter. It's taken them 14 minutes now. So the important thing here for Nhill is just keep working away. So second ruckman's come on, but he's just going down deep. And poor old Austin Merritt has done a mountain of work, but he's still enthusiastic. He's called the midfielders in there. I like seeing that. Matt Kennedy's in there who can play. Toby Marshall. But of course, you see number 35 on screen, Matthew Hutchinson. He's been instrumental this quarter. He's a strong player. Up it goes. Gets it to Hutchinson's feet. They follow up. This is Baden Cosgrove. So they're running a fair few through the midfield. Jake Robinson again. Oh, good tackle there. Dragged and flung to the ground. but they get it out, and there's a free kick. Lucas Dahlenberg, one of the better players.
Yeah, Dahlenberg goes forward now for Nhill, into the forward pocket. Snyder goes up for the mark, couldn't take it. Ararat defenders all over the football at the moment. The ball bouncing out, but it's that man again, Kavanagh. When things start getting a little bit hectic down there, he's a steady influence. He goes to Armstrong on the wing position, looks for a 50-metre penalty, and he's going to get one. So when things are a little bit tight defensively, Kavanagh seems to be able to just step up. Armstrong now goes deep, looks for Cox, and he's marked it. Now he's taking over the mantle from Mills' effort in the first quarter.
Perfect, Brett. I was just going to say, haven't they got options? Look at this player.
Yeah, defensively, I think it's just falling apart. Jacob Bates runs into open goal, moves Ararat to 13 goals, 280 to Nhill, just a 1 goal.
And exactly what you said then, Brett. The Nhill players all went back because that kick was going to come from about 40 out. With the breeze was probably across the ground towards him, so the Nhill players set up thinking, shot at goal. But 5 players aren't going to crumb when it's 1 ball, so someone has to stay out or watch the player drifting in, and they've done that twice now where they've actually drifted down into the forward line, and that player had space 20 metres between him and the next player.
Just a couple of observations as a neutral observer. I just think Mills and Taylor for Ararat, that's Ben Taylor, are a level above this football. I just think they are absolutely outstanding players. To me, Taylor's the sort of guy that could win a league medal.
Yep.
Mills the sort of guy could win league goal kicking. They just seem to be that step above everyone else at the moment.
And look, we haven't seen a lot because it's only the second round, of course, but is Ararat the real deal? It's time to stand up, and they haven't had a premiership for a long time, and obviously today we're seeing a one-sided game, but can this set them up for the season, get a bit of a run on, open some other eyes from other teams out there? Players contest in the middle. I haven't minded the contesting. It's this clearance. They're happy to run the wrong way to get the ball out. So they come straight down the middle. Mills it is who leads up. It's too high for him. Well done there. Body and ball. That was very well done by Fred Stephen, doing 2 things. They get a bit of a run on. Now, if they can just maintain possession, it's a long way home out here. Honours the call. And that player's just grasped it. So, unfortunately, goes back. Well done, son, for applying the tackle. He's chasing again now. Can't quite get there for the tackle, but put a bit of pressure on. And this is Ben. From outside, Ben Christodoulou. Apologise there. Christodoulou, that's it. And Alan Batchelor it is with the ball. Interesting angle, because if he just pops this up a bit, I reckon the wind will just about blow the ball back in for him. And so what does he do? Mills, I tell you what, he can sense it, Mills. He's a man on a mission, but he needs to be playing good football, because if the Bull Ants people are watching, good performance. Yeah, I see that.
Great man Perry Mecca having a bit of a look at the game today,
and he was
associated with the Preston Bull Ants.
Dan had a bit of encouragement there at quarter time as well. So up it comes by Mills. Just a bit of, he did put that up high, and it didn't drift back. So you see him now. That forward line pressure is pointing. As we say, they'll give you the first kick, but this player now, Bone, just goes straight down the middle. The thing is, Brett, you see a kick like that, they've got some talent out there. Yeah. It's putting it together for the 2 or 3, 4 possessions, maybe an end-to-end, rather than this, where it's just a kick up and it's a one-on-one, which gives the ball back in a turnover. And disappointing, got in the back line, it's going to come straight back over your head. Very wide kick, and they do share it. You have got Mills up there, but what they're able to do is share it. So Alan Batchelor now on the other side, comes inside again, and Jacob Bates again. Probably a bit far out, maybe.
Yeah, he's right on the 50, I think, Tony, but it'll be interesting. They've got the big tools in Cox and Mills that are clamping everything deep forward, so if he doesn't quite make the distance, every chance.
And the other bit is, you see Kavanagh's been manned up, but he's been manned up by the ruckman. This ruckman should be back there with his toes on the line. Help out back there. And Bates it is who misses here. So the Nhill ruckman is out here. Kavanagh, so the other ruckman now has come across to pick him up. And that, of course, is Cody Lindsay. So it shuts down the ruckman. Schneider here is just come out of the car park. He's going to be very short in the pocket. Hasn't given it. Ran past. So 2 nice kick-ins. Oh, just took off. Geez, that was quick play. Fumble's going to be costly. Bit of scragging there without the ball. Umpire has a look, lets it go. Player ducks the chutney. And it's been called a throw. So we're right on top of that. That's an interesting one. And Xavier Bone it was, who just took off. He looks a bit of a gangly athlete sort of type. Nice kick too, Brett.
Yeah, it was a nice kick, Tony. And this is what they've got to do. Go through the midfield. They go forward now, Nhill. Out to half-forward flank. Handball goes backwards. And backwards again. Dullenberg, I think, has been outstanding for Nhill today. He's been working really hard. Goes out wide to Matt Kennedy. Kennedy now drives the ball into the forward half. Dullenberg, Jared that time, couldn't mark the ball, but Ararat are going to repel this attempt. Kavanagh handballs out wide, and they're out here. Christodoulou goes for the ball, couldn't mark it. Captain Taylor gets the ball handballed. Now back to Christodoulou, and it's that man Mills.
Oh, wow.
Paddock. He's going to take a bounce. No, he's not. He decides to hit Cox up, and that's a beautiful kick. And the Twin Towers are really making life difficult now for the Nhill defenders. Just too big, too strong, and perhaps a bit too agile.
Geez, he took off again then too, didn't he, Mills? He thought he was half a chance to maybe get it back. I'll feed you, you feed me.
Oh, he covers the ground so well. He's quick.
Yeah.
He's good in the air. Great kick. And I think Cox is actually going for his 3rd or 4th goal for the quarter. So Cox comes in 45-degree angle, and he has missed that to the left-hand side. So Ararat now go to 13 goals, 583, Nhill 1 goal straight 6.
Yeah, so they've kicked 6-4 for the quarter. There's another nice kick in. They're doing this well, this first and second kick. They sort of get the ball 50, 60 metres out. Looks for the handball. Gliding by there is Fred Stephen. It's this kick to the 50-50. That's a good set of jukes. Come inside if you can. He hears the call, then he puts himself in trouble, goes outside. And that's a nice kick by Darcy Alexander. They're down inside 50, so they've done this well. They just need to get maybe a win off this ball up, get it inside, and set up a forward structure. So Schneider's on his own out there. Now he's going to run into the pack, which he doesn't need to do, which has now left a spare. So he came into that pack. There's actually 2 spare back for Ararat now, and you're not all going to touch that ball. Be funny if he gets it. So he's caught out the back of this pack now, Schneider, and he'd be handy up in this position where the ball came to. So they're easily able to switch out the back. Pinpoint kick, you know what, it missed the target. Almost got through. Nhill, come on, get onto it. Player dragged down, inside out. Around the corner goes Matthew Hutchison. Big leap, it's over the back. Coming through, Mitchell Jones. Just pops it out. Can he follow up and get some numbers? They're under pressure here. That's a fortuitous drop, because it allows Nhill to pick the ball up, puts it in towards Lucas Dahlenberg, and he's received the free. Now they're going to go inside 50. Player over the back calling for it, but it goes backwards to go forward, and that was Bone kicking that forward, or Lucas Dahlenberg, sorry. And they're right on the 50. In it comes. Nice lead given, and nice grab taken by the opposition. So just going back. They might actually practice a few things, hey, Ararat. They go out to the right. Matthew Hutchinson's had a really good first half of the quarter. Gone a bit quiet. Now he's got himself back in. Henry Shea in there sharing the load, Brett.
Absolutely. And Ararat have it defensive 50. Goes sideways to the middle of the ground. Decides to play on. Goes long. Half forward. Jacob Bates kicked a couple of goals. Moves the ball forward. Into the forward 50. Contest. Ararat win it through Turner. Turner to that man Mills, who's marked it, and the umpire thought about playing a 50, but Mills now line up on a very slight angle, but he'll be kicking from right on 50. He decides to feed off to Taylor, who's standing all by himself, and this is a guy I spoke about before, as I think at the moment is right in the mix with best on ground honours. He's been sensational out of the middle, and now he's going to do some damage on the scoreboard.
Did you notice, but what do you think about this? He didn't turn and look to see if there were any other leads. He's going to have the shot himself.
Yeah, it's always
The
a
old
worry.
dog.
Always a worry. Sometimes you think there'd be a better option, but in he comes. He'll be kicking from about 40 metres on a slight angle. Comes in to kick. It's a beautiful kick. No, it's just faded at the last moment. It's a behind.
One may say, Brett, one of the best points kicked on the Ararat football stadium.
Absolutely.
So we'll see. I'm interested in the kicking. Have a look here. Poor old Liam Albrecht. He's gone back 3 deep. He's almost walked back to Bacchus Master, picked that ball up.
He's gone a long way, but I have noticed something here, Tony, that when they've kicked in the last couple of times, Nhill, they've gone to Xavier Bone, and he's been manned up, and the rest of the side's basically almost in that 3-4-5 zone. So they've cut that avenue off.
So well picked up, and he's outside 50, 1-on-1 or flying high at the back, but Kavanagh, who's probably hungry for it, he hasn't touched it much this quarter down back, so he's come up forward to get it, and they've given it to the ruckman. A lot of time between hand and foot. That's a nice kick, though. That is a fantastic kick. Matthew Hutchison, he's caught under pressure. That's what we need. Nhill player now, who applied the pressure, gets back after it. Well done as the siren sounds. And Jeremy Weeks it was, just getting it outside the 50. So 13 goals, 6, 84 on the scoreboard to 1 goal straight. And that was a 7 goals, 5 quarter by Ararat. So what we're going to do is say, if you're watching at home, maybe now is the time to go and plug the kettle in, put some coals on the barbie, clock up some points, do a couple of quick jobs, and we'll be back after the break. And welcome back, viewers. I hope you've had a nice little break. Put the heater on maybe if it's getting a bit cold out there. Ground once again bathed in sunshine. My name is Tony Nhill. I'm joined by Brett Henderson, and we spoke with the Ararat president at quarter time, and a nice little chat. And Brett, you've had a chat with the Nhill president at half time, so just prior to half time actually, because they had a function to attend. And what have you garnered from Nhill about their year?
Yeah, look, I had a chat to Dom Collenberg, and look, he thinks that they're on the right track, Tony. They're full of young players, as we've seen today. They're all pretty much locals. There's one or two that have obviously come to town for work, but you know, the side's really made up of ex-juniors, and you know, whilst their numbers at 16 and 17 years of age are a bit of an issue at the moment, below that, they've got a really strong set of numbers that they think that in the future will, strengthen the club. And look, they've got great support from the local community. They've got 500 paid up members. I think we spoke about that earlier today. That's over probably a quarter of the town's population that are involved in the club, and it's not just a club; it's a sporting club. Hockey, bowls, cricket, football, netball, and it's going really well. And that's Thursday nights you pop down there for a meal. Saturday nights after the game, get a meal, and there's a function on. And they've got some great sponsors. Aaron and Sherwell, who are a major sponsor and plaster all over their jumpers and training tops. And look, they deal with grain storage and grain sheds and construction. And I think having a sponsor like that behind them's really good. And they've also got Lucky Duck.
Hello?
not
Fill us in. Not Plucker Duck. Lucky Duck.
Lucky Duck. And I think it's Lucky Duck. Lover Duck.
Lover Duck.
There you go. No, they're a Lucky Duck before they get the Lover Duck, because when they get the Lover Duck, they're a dead duck.
Yeah, I was going to say they wouldn't be too lucky, mate.
No.
So what does a Lover Duck do?
Lover Duck actually
Quack quack.
provides duck meat for all the supermarkets and
really?
chains, and it's actually a huge business, and they're proud sponsors of the Nhill Football Netball Club.
Well, that is fantastic. Who'd have thought a duck farm in Nhill? But if you love your duck, Lover Duck is the place to get them from. So well done to the Nhill Football Club, because sponsors are an integral part of it. And you talk about that, Brett, the jumpers, all the shorts, the socks, things like that, the name on the jumper. But so many volunteers are required, and we looked up the population. Well, there's about 10 or 12,000 here in Ararat, and you've got 1,500 down there at Nhill and 500 paid up members. It augurs well. It's not about one game like today. It's not about one season maybe. But in 3 or 4 years' time, these lads that we're watching today will have played the 50, 70, 80 games, and they'll be hardened up to the speed of the game, the composure, how they hold their bodies. I always knew when I played country footy, like yourself, Latrobe Valley Footy League, went across to South Australia, played in the city, played country there. Whenever I played the country, when you were hit by a country body, mate, it was different. The hardness, the toughness of the players, or a tackle, the honesty, the authenticity about how they went about their football, you can't question. And I've actually admired Nill's endeavour at times today with their tackling and hardness, especially probably the first 15 minutes of the game. And we're starting to see patches of it throughout the game, but you've got to stick at it, because you take the scoreboard out of the equation, your actual makeup as a footballer, what is it? Are you still giving the last 5 minutes of the game what you were giving in the first 5 minutes, or have you dropped your head because of the scoreboard? Well, in 3 or 4 years' time, this score may be reversed, or they may be up there in the top 4 and so on. So your traits are very important. What you're doing now augurs for the future.
Yeah, and just look, I popped into both rooms at half time, and I was sort of blown away by how young the Nhill boys are when you're sort of standing in there and having a look at them. And to be fair, they were pretty quiet as a group at half time, as you would be when you're 12, 13 goals down, and they're coming up against some of these bigger bodies. And I popped into Ararat's rooms and stood right next to Big Kavanagh, and he's a big unit. So as a young boy playing senior footy, Yeah, that can be a little bit intimidating.
And interesting, both teams doing a very similar warm-up. Maybe they've got the one fitness coach, even though they're almost 200 kilometres apart. But one of the things I did do, I popped into the umpires' room, and I might change my vocation because, fair dinkum, mate, I'll keep an eye on how these umpires get around the second half. They had an absolute smorgasbord of sandwiches. I was going to dip my hand into the container, and then I thought, no, I better not. And anyway, I said to the umpire, so you guys are doing all right? And he said, well, most of us have done 2 games. So, fantastic effort. So we'll run through in the middle here. We've got Paul Cocking. He's umpired his 100 games today.
Great effort.
He's there in the white boots, and he's joined by Jamie Shevlin in the middle. The goal umpires are Ian Nicholson. A little bit Larry. He's got the black boots with the green stripe on, as we see marching out this end of the cricket pitch down there. And the other one is Mark Griffiths without a H, so it's Griffiths. And our boundary, well, I said, who's got the blue boots on? You wouldn't believe it, because I said, you boys had a lot of work on. Well, they're brothers. We've got Harry Hicks, blue boots, but he's got the green socks on. And we've got Jack Hicks in the black socks. Now, young Harry did say to me, he said, I'm younger, but I'm taller.
Oh,
so,
that will go down well.
And these are bound up. Look out. So, bit of fun and games between the brothers. Then we've got Rigby Wynn. He's in the dark blue shoes. You can just see walking across there. Nice throw of the little whistle there as he walks across the pitch. And Andrew Bywater, well, he didn't have too many sandwiches. He's actually jogged out the position. The other 3 are a bit sluggish. They're full of sandwiches and soft drink, whatever else was down there, mate. So, well done.
I would have loved a sandwich, Tony. I went to get another one of those great hamburgers from the local
Oh, no.
butcher.
Yeah, how'd you go? Beautiful.
Shut down. They're that good, they were gone by half time.
You're kidding.
So, if anyone's listening to the broadcast and has got their hands on those sandwiches, I'd be more than happy to get rid of a couple.
Yeah, jeez. All right, well, let's thank our sponsors once again from Ararat, WFI Insurance, Foster's Men's Land, Ararat RSL, Intersport, Western Quarries, KFC, Ararat. And, of course, today is brought to you by Dartfish and Filming Football, the live stream. So we'll go into the second quarter. We'll have a look at some goal scorers and so on in a moment. But 13-6 to 1 goal as the umpire throws it up. And Ararat not able to win the tap. Nhill player just a little bit high there. And the umpire has given it. And Jake Robinson it is. So Nhill actually won the tap. The big ruckman's sort of out of position here. He's caught. See, the ball goes over his head. So he's in the middle of what's going on. But the Ararat ruckman isn't even going with him. So interesting ploys. In it comes, and a nice mark up forward. This could be one of many here. Let's have a look. And I'll tell you who's just off of this is Mills. Might just be fishing. Have a look at him. Just back on the 50 fishing for a handball. And that player hasn't turned around towards the goals. Now he has. Bit of a limp up there. He's having a look. Look at Mills. He's still got space too. He can go either side. Now he goes to space.
Going to be used to turn his
That's
back.
Alan Batchelor. That might have been a set play. He's pushed over after he kicked it, and there's another forward entry. And this will be Bailey Turner, I reckon, who's kicked 2. So Turner goes back, lines it up. Umpire says that is a point. So they have a point on the scoreboard here to Ararat. They've fed that ball in quite well though.
So Neil Snyder kicks out. Oh, it's a lovely kick out under the wing. Finds Matt Kennedy. Kennedy just slows things down a little bit for the Tigers. Decides to go backwards. Back into the defensive 50. Now they're going to transition across in front of goal, but he's hit Mills lace out. He has hit Mills lace out, and he's the one man you don't want to be kicking the ball to as an opposition because he's been getting enough of his own foot. So Mills is going to line up for goal number 6. He's only about 25 metres out on a slight angle, kicking to the town end. Comes in, lovely kicking style, puts it straight through the middle. So it's 6 for Mills, 6 of 14. So Nhill now go to 1 goal 6, as they've been all day, sorry, and Ararat now go to 14 goals 791. So it's an 85-point margin, and there just seems to be no stopping Ararat at the moment. Just too strong out of the middle at the moment, the Ararat boys. Lindsay getting hands on the ruck, Merritt working really hard for Nhill, but just needs probably a little bit more support of Brownlee. Umpire comes in again. Lindsay and Merritt to go head to head. Great tap by Merritt. Taylor wins it for Ararat, but runs into a brick wall. There's Jared Dellenberg, and the umpire will ball it up.
So we've seen a couple of 2 or 3 ball ups in a row. Bit of congestion, and as we said, with a bit of fatigue, of course, you're going to get some of this happening. The wings on this side of the ground, there's wings and flankers down deep, but Kavanagh's come up. He's at the back of this pack. He's about 30 metres off, but there's no wingers out the side. So a rush kick forward by Ararat, taken in the middle and just bombed forward. Schneider again beating their better players. That is a great take. Express pace off there. Luke Sporting, he actually gave that backward to a player in free space. 2 on 1 here. Player goes to ground for Nhill. They're caught behind, and that is a great recovery. God, he cuts through. Absolutely cut through there. Bailey Turner, and there's a kick down the ground. There's a little bit going on here as Riley Taylor comes in and just helps out there. Mills it is. He's had a mountain of the ball. Doesn't mind sharing it. Player just going to ground, so around they come Ararat. Oh, a player swung 360. Come on, umpire. There it is, a sense of theatre. Gives the free. The umpire's got good positioning inside. Don't run to the boundary side. They're doing well. So a little switch of play here to Nhill. The big ruckman is set up out here, but they're on each other. So if they can get a bit more mobile. Nhill player is just looking. He wants some movement. Oh, there's a little bit going on just in back play here. Ball came out though. 31 and 1. Just had a little tussle, and there might have been a little bit of unsavoury action before that ball came out. But just standing in the right position, the Ararat player, he looks, puts a hand up, says no, yes, goes high on the left foot, and he actually rushed and kicked it to space and put that, it bounced back for a point. So nice little spin on that ball. So they go out the other side. Nhill, can they load up before the Ararat players? So the wildebeest are migrating across the ground as we speak. You see a lot of players were caught out this side of the ground. Now they get across. If they can stay wide, that's a nice kick along, but to a 1-on-1. And at the back of the pack, the Ararat player, geez, looked inside. Nhill player there, Brett, got caught out between the two. So this is Luke Spalding coming inside.
Armstrong. Handballs to our boy Taylor. That's his first mistake for the day, Ben Taylor. Handball now to Jordan Taylor.
How quick was that?
That was very, very quick.
Jake Robinson, I reckon that was it. Kicked it, yeah.
Jake Robinson it was.
Here they go.
Ball goes into the middle of the ground, as far as the middle of the forward 50. Bubbles around. Mills. Oh, he sprayed that. He's almost hit the scoreboard, I think. Ball somehow stays in. Bubbles around in the forward pocket for Ararat. Nhill defending desperately. Handball's out. Jared Dellenberg. Oh, this is a chance now. Nhill pushing forward. Gets it around.
What's that? I'll watch the fight. Keep going, mate. You're right.
Nhill, go forward into the forward line. And it'll trickle over the boundary line after a good contest.
So there's a bit of a Barney going on in the forward line down the end of Ararat. There's about 6 or 8 players, and Mills it was came in to support his teammate, and the player got dragged to ground by Nhill. And there's a little bit going on there, and you can see Mills now. He's coming up towards the 50. Look at Ararat. They've got 2 players absolutely free of this pack. If they get it forward here, there's not one Nhill player near them. There's the Nhill players going forward. That's a screwy. That's not a bad kick to advantage. Oh, I couldn't quite get around. I reckon that was Bone. Or they're out now, Ararat. So away they come. Geez, Riley Taylor pointed there to space, didn't get used. He's going to have to run hard to catch up here because they are out. There's Mills in the middle. That's a great kick. Brodie Griffin's foot skills, Brett, fantastic.
Mills just cramped himself up then with the kick. Goes forward again. Hutchison.
Oh,
it's a nice kick. And
on the
that's
full.
been on the full.
Goal umpire called
Goal
it.
umpire called that. So Nhill try and transition out the other side of the ground. Goes towards Snyder. The ball needs to sit up for him and it does so. He goes further afield and finds young Crowhurst. Crowhurst goes forward, but it's repelled again by Ararat. They just feed off the hands. Go in towards Mills. Couldn't mark it this time.
Strong.
Strong. Gets through the contest. Ball bubbles around again, but Ararat force their way through. Go forward again with hands. Jordan Taylor, the captain, goes towards Mills. Can't catch it. It was like a slips catch. Couldn't hang onto it. Nhill off the ground. Through the middle of the ground again. But they'll repel it once more. They go forward. Nice kick. Beautiful kick from Ethan Summers, who's been turned over by Nhill somehow.
Commentator's curse there, and Toby Marshall, it is, picks up, mops up. They're out here kicking to a 1-on-1. If it comes to ground, they're outnumbered here, Nhill, and they are. And that was great work, good work rate being shown here. I'll tell you who else has done a mountain of work down here. Riley Taylor, who may be next in line. Here he is on the wing. He's been working this wing up and down the ground. I like to see that, even though they're scoring well on the scoreboard, just his work rate. Untidy kick there by Robert Armstrong. Puts himself under pressure. They've got numbers. Ben Taylor gives it off. He's going to get it back. He's running on his left. He takes a bounce. Has time to get on his right. Has to put it high towards Mills. And he takes a good grab. Probably outdone there, Drew Schneider, in height. Starting to go up and down on the spot a little bit, Schneider there, because he's done a mountain of work as well. I'd say he's probably been in better players for Nhill. But Mills, who's kicked 6, now lining up for his 7th out of 14. Very deliberate. Comes in, points the ball down a little bit, and yeah, it probably cost him a little bit, just the way he held that ball and the drop from hand to foot. If you leave a little bit of distance there, you can sometimes, the wind might move it a little bit, or not in line with your knee and your foot, and just offline, which should have been a lay down Mazaire goal. I'll tell you what I do like, Brett, I haven't seen him turn sideways and have to snap around the corner though.
Well, Mills has probably had 15 possessions as a kick forward, so it's been a really impressive effort so far.
Father or uncle, was it, that's kicked? Some player been knocked rotten there. Hope he's all right. I think it was his father or his uncle kicked 20-odd goals in the Goulburn Valley game there about 25 years ago.
Might have been Trevor Mills.
Was it? Yeah.
Yeah, but Mills' family, very famous footballing family from Uriah, and he's got a lot of their attributes.
Baden Cosgrove it is. Geez, pressure there. This is what I'm talking about. At times, Nhill have shown patches where just that pressure, hard at the ball, hard at the player, and they don't get it all their own way, Ararat. And I reckon that's Bailey McQueen there with the helmet on. Now, he's got an arm on his player. I'd like to see that. Now he leaves his player, which leaves him free. They have a spare and they can't get it across. Matthew Hutchison, he's got that barrel chest, very strong player. So let's have a look at the matchups here. Umpire just says to the runner, get off the ground. There's a Nhill player free here. McQueen's almost free. Out it goes now, around the corner, Ben Taylor. In tight, gets out, and he got it across Matthew Hutchison, who got it across to Ethan Summers, and just walking over the line there.
Just looking at the stoppages, Tony, I think Nhill have actually thrown a couple of their forwards up into the stoppage and really thickened it up.
Yeah, well, look down here, there's only 3 players in front of
slow down the damage on the scoreboard.
That's a better throw-in by the boundary umpire. Just got his hand to it, the Ararat ruckman. Geez, he's a big, strong lad. You know what you like to see, Cody Lindsay, is that second effort. And this is a game where maybe they can push him a bit and get him to practice a little bit about his positioning, where he's going, what he's going to do, not just the ruck taps, but other work off the ball. So, good win there by Nhill. And look at that. And he took off to Kavanagh. Not a very good kick, though. Oh, did he take off there?
took off. He was on the runway.
Yeah, Fred Stephen, out wide. Once again, they're tackling at times, and this possession football. Kicks to 2-on-1, 3-on-1 now. They can't get the second effort in. Taking the ground, he hung on too long there, tried to do it all. I reckon that's
Benny
Christodoulou, yeah. So Nhill players now load up. They do come very, very wide, and what a dangerous player to put it in the hands of Ben Taylor. Taking the ground, a little socket to himself, Henry Shea. Comes around and not quite able to get it through. And of course, we remember the great Billy Joel concert at Shea Stadium, of course, just spelt a little bit different, Brett.
Honestly.
Righto.
Throw in. Okay, you go forward again, Ararat, towards Turner, but it's going to be another boundary throw in. But I'm just seeing, Tony, a lot of thickening up of the stoppage by the Nhill boys. They've basically only got one in their forward 50, and as a result, Ararat have only kicked the one goal this quarter. So boundary throw in deep in the Ararat forward pocket. Looking for some players to be on the move here. A bit of blocking. Hutchison blocks. Mills tries to take it out of the ruck. Shot on goal. Snyder kicks it forward for Nhill. Gets it out of the dangerous forward 50. He's going to come straight back. Kavanagh decided to get back involved into the game. Ball goes high into the forward line for Ararat. No mark. Ball hits the deck. Once again, Dallenberg kicks it out, but it's only going to go as far as Brodie Griffin. Griffin takes on one or two players, uses the hands, receives it back, goes out wide.
His foot skills, mate, are exceptional. Young Griffin.
Henry Shea kicks high into the forward line. Mills goes with a one-hander. And it's going to be a rush through for behind for Ararat.
Thought he might have heard the call for the handball then and given it away. So they're off now, out, which catches a lot of the players out of position. Comes inside now. So this is what we talk about, the 2 or 3 kicks. Can they get the next one? But Ethan Summers puts the big jukes up. Nice grab. They come inside. Brodie Griffin, they're allowed to use it. Oh, he's almost caught. His foot skills I've talked about, but an exceptional player. This player will take off, very mature, and knows his way around the footy ground as Matthew Hutchison. Here he is, gets it back. Delivers a little bit to the fat side, and up go the Dukes of Cox. And we touched on it before. They've got a few to choose from. He's going to kick from 50. Just see how well they know this ground. The breeze, it's actually dropped. There's nothing. Not a zephyr in the sky as we speak. So Cox is going to kick from pretty much 51, 52 metres out, dead in front. Goes around a little bit, and with that he runs out to the right and kicks to the left. 2-on-1, 3-on-1, rushed again. Do you know, we're 15 minutes into the quarter, you said it exactly, but they've kicked 1 goal for the quarter. This time last quarter, they'd kicked 6 or 7 goals. So Nhill are doing a good job here. Did a little bit of cramp there to Riley Taylor already, which I spoke about earlier. If you don't hydrate enough, this is going to come into play, but probably also his work rate. Looking straight into that sun, shielding his eyes, so he's going to pop it up. There it goes. It's a nice kick right into the teeth of goals. Mills flies high. No, it wasn't Mills. May have been Cox, it was. They're out again. This is just happening so often. He took off there, took a step. Umpires look at each other and says, you call it. So Paul Cocking, 100 games.
Made a very good decision there, I thought, Tony.
Yeah. Now they come ring-a-ring-a-rosy around the outside. They just square it up a touch, and that was Ethan Summers kicking to Jordan Cox, who had that nice fly. No, that's not Cox, that's Jacob Bates, who's kicked 2 already. He's going to line up for his third. So he's probably 10 metres closer than the last kick in. And if you run straight, you'll kick straight. If you run out the right, you'll either kick to the right or hook it around. Now he's a left footer, so he goes a little bit out to one side, and exactly what we said, he went the other way. He went out one way and then hooked it back trying to get extra distance. So Nhill get another opportunity, Brett.
I just think Nhill got an opportunity here now to perhaps hit the scoreboard a couple of times. I think Ararat look as though they're just tiring a little bit. And Nhill obviously making a bit of a contest as they move it out towards the wing position. And they've got numbers out the back here. Mark taken. Now they've got another couple of numbers running forward. It's a good number taken. Bailey McQueen goes deep. The ball splits over the back. Ararat player falls over. Kavanagh fighting hard, deep defensively. He hasn't had to do it all day. Nhill boys up for the battle here. Kavanagh goes in again, drops the ball. Ball bubbles around. And it's going to be a free kick to Nhill here.
Tell you what, she's hot in the kitchen, Brett. They moved that from one end to the other there, Nhill. And it was a bit of the old Pagans paddock. They had to run to get that ball down, but well done with persistence. And free kick right in front of goal.
Yeah, Toby Marshall's got the ball. And we just spoke about a moment ago. I just think now's the opportunity for Nhill to score. I think there's a little bit of fatigue showing in the older Ararat side, and a bit of a chance for these young boys to kick a couple of goals, and Toby Marshall has done just that to give Nhill their second goal for the day. So the scoreboard reads 14-11, 95 Ararat, and Nhill go to 2 goals straight, 12.
Here's a scary bit. If they kick another goal, they'll win the quarter.
Well, that was
so far
about at half time, Tony, in general terms.
Yeah, so the breeze is going right to left. And Nhill, they moved that ball from one end of the ground to the other. They put it out in space, let players run onto it, got it over the top, and very fortuitously, McQueen it was, which is strong play. He centred the ball. It was an untidy kick, but he centred it in, and they get the shot on goal and kick the goal. So umpire now heading back. Now the last time they kicked the goal, very quickly Ararat answered. So we'll see what happens here, whether they do or don't answer. Once again, the Ararat forwards are all in a line apart from 2 players about 20 metres apart at the top of the apex, centre forward. Over the back it goes. Ararat tip it back to come forward. Play a little bit tired there, the Ararat player going for the ball. Second to it, so 3-2. Nhill have actually got more numbers around the ball. Strong tackle now, though, by Brodie Griffin. Out it comes, and Alan Batchelor goes forward. Just that high kick to one-on-one makes it hard for Mills, so they're going to run it out again. If they can just pick it up, not quite. Mills manhandles a few, gets it out, across it comes, 2-on-1. That's a very good effort if he can get it up. Tell you what, Liam Kavanagh behind you hunting it down, mate. He wants leather, and there he is. Talk about second efforts. He'll probably give a handball off, run back and get it back, or kick it to himself if he could. Too far out. Just stops and props. He's going to take 2 steps with the kick. 1-2. 1 foot. And just a delight. So they're inside the 50. Probably breeze coming straight at him here. And also the sun in the eyes. Not an easy kick. So, oh, geez, Mills crashes the pack. Gives away the free. But the Nhill player is feeling his back a bit there. Out the far side, I think that was either Matt Kennedy, I reckon it was, or Toby Marshall. Possession again. And, you know, we often talk about you might not win the game, you might not win the quarter, but win the moment. And at this point, I think Nhill are winning a couple of moments. If you can put 2 or 3 moments together, you might get a score. So there's another free. No, it's staying with Ararat. So Hutchison, just that second quarter really had a purple patch. Influences the game a fair bit. Geez, loads up Kavanagh for a big one. Kicks it short. They come back out. It's almost the identical play. Oh, trying for the slips catch there. Christodoulou. Slow to get up. Player standing back there. He is the architect back there. Kavanagh. Out it comes to Brodie Griffin. I don't reckon he's messed one up yet. Straight kick into centre forward. Player on his own. That's a mark and a bounce, and you're caught, son. And Nhill plays. Now have a look how many players are standing around. See the Nhill players in back play here with hands on hips and knees and that. They need to run. They've got numbers here. Now they need an overlap. And now they start the run just a little bit late. So the kick comes in, has to be precise, and it is, but they need players now down the ground. Captain Liam Albrecht goes straight into centre forward. Put the ball on the ground, that'll give you half a chance. And have a look at this. That's well crumbed. Kicks around the corner. Jeremy Weeks, and at this point, they are winning the quarter as we speak. Just as I said that running on and give yourself an opportunity, the ball hits the ground, put it to ground, and well run on by Weeks. And he got a bit of space, Brett, 2 or 3 metres, and that's all you need.
They've really slowed them down, and I think Ararat have become a little bit lazy with their disposal. You know, in some instances, Nhill are just picking that off, and then starting to get them out the back. Just a little bit of their leg speed. So, you know, obviously, I'm never going to be in the game, but they're in the moment as you speak about.
Well, as I said, Brett, don't worry about the scoreboard, just worry about your traits as a player. And, you know, Ararat are starting to make a few of the skill errors I was talking about, that 2% fatigue and, you know, mental fatigue, physical fatigue, and just a blast forward by Nhill here to try and get it out. So he couldn't quite get that Riley Taylor, whereas earlier in the quarter he might. He put in a great second effort there. Ball just went up and down there. So Nhill come forward again. They're inside 50. Player uses the body. We've just seen patches here. Brodie Kramer. They're going to line up for their third goal
In a matter of
for the
minutes.
quarter. Yeah. And I'll be interested to see Ararat how they react, because if you're in a game where it's 1 or 2 goals difference, you know, how do you react? How do you structure up? Players just walk around here with hands on hips. Are they in position in case he misses and kicks a point? The Nhill players are. Look. They've got the ring around the 50. In he comes on the left boot. Keeps it low and hard, and just a little bit offline there, Brodie Kramer. And as you always do, Brett, when you miss, you go down to your boot and play around with the tongue or the lace or something. See whether they haven't kicked too many points, Nhill. So just see what they do on the arms are up. Will they give the first kick off? They've got 2 to go to. As he goes down the middle, that's poor by Nhill. You give the outside run. You normally give this one, it's this next kick. What happens? So space allowed. Brodie Griffin. He's a very good player, this player. Now he just pops it up. Geez, they spoil each other. They're the Ararat players. And we'll have a ball up on centre wing. You're with Brett Henderson.
Yeah, ball on the centre wing. Just the last 10 minutes from Nill's been really good. The umpire's about to throw it in.
Play it free at the back here too, Brett, if they can get it to him. That won't happen.
Full shallow. But once again, Nhill drive forward, but it's going to be intercepted by Henry Shea. Shea for Ararat.
The square movement. Look at Ararat, square to the left. Little kick to the right. Nhill have done well there, Brett.
Done very well. They've just slowed it down, and Griffin now forced up against the boundary line as the 3/4 time siren's going to go. And, you know, a really good quarter from Nhill. A really good quarter.
So we go in 14 goals, 11 for the quarter. So I think they kicked 1 goal, might have been 1 goal 4 or 1 goal 3. 14, 11, 95. And 3 goals 1 to Nhill. However, Nhill won the quarter.
Won the quarter. And, you know, they spoke about it. I just heard that in general terms at half time. I don't know how they broke that down, but certainly they made some change around the contest, and they really thickened the contest up. So every stoppage, you know, they had even numbers, or they're actually outnumbering Ararat, and as a result of that, they slowed down the flow of play. So I think full credit to the Nhill coaching staff to implement that. It may not be pretty to watch, but it stops some hemorrhaging on the scoreboard.
Yeah, you're right, and I think we've talked up Ararat because they're obviously winning on the scoreboard and having most of the play. We see Mills here getting a bit of direction from a few assistants there, but let's talk about Nhill. Go through there. Goal scorers: Toby Marshall 1, Jordan Gurry with 1, and we got their third was Lucas Dahlberg with 1. And probably their better players. I think Schneider's put in a good effort when times were a bit tough as well. Drew Schneider. Yeah, Lucas Dahlenberg, I reckon he was in their best players last week. He's playing a fairly solid game. Liam Albrecht, the captain, of course, is putting in a pretty solid effort. Toby Marshall at times. Matt Kennedy.
Yeah,
you know, we'll talk about them in and out. Bailey McQueen got that kick inside here, of course. Gary, of course, it sort of drops away. Fred Stephen at times. Austin Merritt. I think the ruck contest, there hasn't been a clear-cut win in the ruck tap itself. So Lee Matthews always says it's not who wins the tap, it's what happens next. That's where Ararat are winning it in the clearances on the ground. They're not afraid to go backwards to get it to someone to then go forward. So Austin Merritt, I think, has done a pretty mighty job up there. Jeremy Weeks came in with that goal running in off the wing, number 61. Go across to Ararat, so the goal scorers there, Brett.
Yeah, right. Riley Taylor, the captain's got one. Jacob Bates got two. Jordan Cox kicked a couple. Corey Taylor one. Tommy Mills has got 6, and Bailey Turner's got a couple. So, they've had really good contributions, but they seem to just cut out that ball, one-on-one to Mills and to Cox in that last quarter. Just made a bit of a difference, and then all of a sudden Cox and Mills are moving forward more and more up the ground, or trying to go for more probably unrealistic marking attempts to stay in the game. So it just changed the dynamics, and three-quarter time, Nhill will go over there and say, well, look, we've got a bit of hope of putting some respectability on the board. These guys here, I think Ararat probably just got a little bit comfortable and a little bit fatigued, so they probably need a little bit of a realignment.
And Nill's already in the huddle. I reckon that's David Flood talking to them at the moment, whereas we see Ararat still in their separate little groups. And some of the better players, Brett, for Ararat that you've seen?
Yeah, look, I think really Ben Taylor, to me, has been dynamic out of the midfield. Hutchinson has been great. Tom Mills, Cox, fantastic. Kavanagh, Kavanagh just directs things down back, and he's a guy that has probably got the best role in footy.
Yeah.
He probably doesn't really play correctly on anyone. Rolls off at the right time, and basically he's almost like an extra midfielder at times in the defensive half of the ground. And
he's doing that work in the back line, but he's also, as you can see now, he's talking to the back line there. He's one of the back line coaches for the team there. So they are ahead by plenty on the scoreboard, 76 odd points. But Nhill, that little fight back. So let's just have a little bit of chat about what we've seen out there, Brett. The speed versus tempo. Nhill used the ball a little bit better that quarter at times. They like to try and hit up a target, and you see Ararat run on a lot. They just bang, 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 play on. Nhill were holding up with a little bit of tempo, then they let loose. Isn't it good to get it down and see it go through rather than get it down and come straight back at you?
Absolutely. I think with the tempo, we call it power. Getting the power of the game by marking the ball in the back half. You can control the game then, and I think they did that a lot better. And then they managed to transition the ball, eventually be able to kick a bit longer, and their smaller players were getting out the back of the contest and causing a few concerns for the Ararat defence for the first time.
The next one, the length versus width. So we saw, is it the press by Ararat coming up the ground, the backs, are they all flooding down, or is it the forwards of Nhill coming down the ground to flood Ararat's forward line? It's a bit of both. And then they get it out and they then move it, or what we call the slingshot, back down the other way. So length and using the width of the ground. How have you seen that? Because we saw Ararat that first quarter, didn't we? Open up, using it so wide down to this pocket.
It's probably a tidal movement. And when I say that, you flow up the ground and try and keep it in your forward line, and then you come back as the ball's coming down towards your defence. So it's about that up and down movement. But I just think Nhill did a really good job around stoppages by really throwing numbers up into it.
Run and carry through the middle. Do we see much run and carry? We haven't seen a lot of that today. We just see actual ball movement by foot. And as I mentioned, Brodie Griffin, it's been a very good game by Ararat, but I've been really impressed by his use of the ball by foot. He just seems very clever between the ears, but his foot skills, whether he's running around the corner, we're taught in footy now, turn and face the player, but it's a skill to kick around the corner. When you're under pressure, you haven't got time to turn, kick it around the corner, but he tends to hit a target either way.
He's elite by foot. Now, I don't know his background. I don't know whether he's been with the GWS Rebels or whatever it's called now in the non-league, but he's certainly got really elite foot skills.
You see him just walking across there, he just looks like an athlete, doesn't he? Just probably going to play on the wing there, as they've got big 31 there Cody Lindsay in the ruck. They've got Ben Taylor, so they're going to load up here. Ben Taylor, they've got Jake Robinson and also Matthew Hutchison, who he's been real impressive at times, and having a bit of chat there to Mitchell Jones. By the looks of it, they're on each other, or not to Mitchell Jones, sorry, that's Lucas Stalenberg. That's a good matchup. Don't mind that, because two very good quality players. As umpire comes in now, got the ball ready for the last quarter, and the big game here in the Wimmera Football League. You're with Brett Henderson for the first throw up or bounce.
Okay, so Simon Duffy, who's replaced Merritt into the ruck, goes up for Nhill against Lindsay, who wins the tap. Ball hits the deck. Lindsay feeds out the handball to Taylor, couldn't take it with him. Ball bubbles around again. Dallenberg crashes in.
Look at him, yeah.
And fighting hard, and umpire says, okay, I'm going to start again. So still in the middle of the ground, ruckman go at it. Lindsay wins the tap once more. Taylor gets a ball at ground level, feeds out a handball, follows up again. Kick is smothered, and the Nhill boys chase the ball out towards the boundary line. And I think Taylor's going to win another free kick. That's defensive wing for Ararat. Taylor played an exceptional game. Goes towards a key figure in Mills. Can't quite grab it. Handball's back in. Christodoulou handballs the ball, but it's smothered. He's wrapped up, and the umpire's going to say, I'll have it again. Or he's going to ping him. No, he says he's been attempting, so he'll bounce the ball.
So poor old Mills there, he actually pushed so hard against that player, he pushed himself out of the equation to take the grab. He had to put the jukes up. So, geez, I tell you what, almost no contest here. Well, this is what I spoke about, though. It's not who wins the tap, it's what happens next. If Nhill can almost capitalise and rove to the ruckman, so he's going to win just about every tap here. It bounces over about four players around the corner, cleaned up outside the boundary there, Ben Christodoulou, and out of bounds right in front of our central commentary position here on the 50-metre line. A lot of players, Brett, you've seen the matchups there. A lot of the Nhill players to the right of this throw-in or in line with the ball.
It's basically an 8v8 in here. So, yeah, as I said, it's really condensed.
Could be over the back, it is. And set play there, Jake Robinson gets it out. Oh, that's the old learn how to kick when you're about 5 years old. Bang it on the boot, but it's effective. Player gets around. That was very well done. Just caught everyone watching. Got it across to Jacob Bates and kicks the goal. That kick there, that was Cox too. He turned as if he was going to... I thought he was going to put it up in the air, and probably would have had a shot myself at that, Brett. But he sort of turned, and that player just streamed through the middle there, Jacob Bates, but he caught everyone else out. They're all flat-footed. So he opened up the pathway and didn't quite walk on water, but he just walked through, and so much space there to kick his third goal. They go to 15-11, so that's their first for the quarter. 100 points, so 101 to 3 goals, 119. So will Nhill now react, hold them up? Will they push players back, or will the floodgates open again? So Mills is caught right between full forward and centre forward, and Drew Schneider is a real mismatch, is the player playing on him. So Mills has just pointed out to that spot. The player coming in front there, Robert Armstrong, Mills has pushed back. He leads again now. That was 2 or 3 kicks. Couldn't quite take it. Oh, that's a overhand handball, we'll call that. Fumble there. It's up, it's down. This is where it's got to be willing. And Jake Robinson, number 21 there, playing a very good game as well for Ararat. Dahlberg in there, number 7 for Nhill. Number 20 here is Simon Duffy, who I think just has to go in and almost look like you're putting on a contest. Player free on his own back here for Nhill, number 17, Angus Wheaton.
He needs to drop back deeper if he's going to do that.
Yep.
He's come up now to Armstrong.
And they've let another player for Nhill go in to the pack. Now it's just a hack. Good old Screwy. Right out to the boundary, and that's a lot of sacrificial running by Riley Taylor. Calling for deliberate. And you can't umpire it, son. Get back and be the captain of your club. Don't worry about umpiring. Let the umpires umpire, and because our boundary umpire is going to throw this one in.
So boundary umpire right on the true wing in front of the interchange gates. Throws a ball in. Big men go for it. Lindsay wins a tap. Nhill win the contest. Dullenberg wins the ball.
They probably wish they'd Dalhouse out there.
He's had a good day. He plays with a mouth guard, but half the time it's outside his mouth, so he's been very good. Freddie Stephen now has the ball on the wing for Nhill. Kicks the ball about 40 metres up in the air they go, but it's a really good intercept mark by Ararat. Maybe Griffin to Kavanagh. Handballs. Taylor, captain. Back to Griffin.
His work rate. Wow.
He's really starting to run hard now. Goes in towards Cox. Mills sees the ball over the back, senses a goal, picks the ball up, unselfishly handballs. And Alan Batchelor thought about feeding back to Mills, but runs in and kicks a goal.
I'm glad you noticed that. Did you see his eyes when he got it? You're 20 metres out, run into an open goal, and he's looking backwards to who can I give it to?
You never look in the review mirror, Tony.
Jeez. Might be the old Malcolm Blight. You kick a goal and then get taken off for not handballing. Barassi did that one day, I reckon. And yeah, I thought Drew Snyder was going to have a good contest there, but Mills just clever. I thought Mills looked like he was lagging a bit, but he was actually reading the play, to be honest. And he is a very fit player, and he just read it better. And geez, he's good. He shares the ball around, Brett. I really like that. He probably could have kicked 10 today, Mills, but he shared it by foot and by hand, as well as kicking 6 himself. So really impressed by his game. God, it's going to be hard to pick the best players. This player's picked up a few touches now, but those handballs have to hit a target. Dahlenberg it is. Just gets it around, and the player who got it out the first time just keeps it in play. It still stops on the boundary. Oh, still in play now. Poor old Jaron Dahlenberg it was, number 4, really had his work cut out there. This is the pressure we saw from Nhill in the first half. Just that extra 1 or 2 players by Ararat. Geez, Taylor it is again. Gives it and gets it back in traffic. Puts it out. Oh, the big ruckman down below the knees. Kavanagh is looking at the big white sticks, and you get excitement going on there. Oh, round on the left. That is a horrible looking kick off the boot by Ben Taylor. But it's effective. It didn't go where he wanted. But it did.
If Ben Taylor hasn't had 35 touches today, I'd be very surprised.
BOG, you reckon, Brett? I don't know. We'll throw a blanket over him. Yeah. Kavanagh died out a bit in one quarter only because the ball just didn't get down there. Now he's brought himself back into the game. He's had a great game. Jake Robinson, number 21, in the middle. Great game. I'll tell you what I did like. Cody Lindsay, just recently, that below-the-knee stuff. It's one thing to be a big, tall ruckman, but if he comes up against an equal of himself, where can you have the extra advantage? So they've got Austin Merritt back on the ground, which is good to see. So it's going to be a hard tussle. That sort of stuff from a ruckman, love to see. Don't just rely on the height and the tap. Do some other stuff. Now they come the fat side again. They really play that well. Geez, I'd give that, mark or push. So Ben Taylor kicked the last one.
Yeah, what killed Nhill then was that their wingman didn't keep his width. So he's come into the contest. Ararat wingman stays out wide. Easy, handball out to him, and away they go. And now Taylor's lined up for 2 within a minute. A
couple of blokes just sniffing around the outside of him here, but he hasn't looked at him. So Ben Taylor, it is, strides in. He's going to kick from 45. Dead in front. Bit of a breeze behind him, which then puts that out to the right. So our local knowledge, our timekeepers to our left here have given us a bit of local knowledge, and there's what can happen with that wind behind you. Flag just fluttering to our left, back towards us a little bit. That's a little bit longer kick. You might not get away with that one a lot of the time, Nhill, but they did. Matt Kennedy. Now they come inside on the angle. This is interesting. There's 2 players free out here. They elect to go the other way. Darcy Honeyman. Honeyman delivers it out to the wing. See this diagonal crisscross? One bit comes undone. 6 kicks to get it 30 metres. And I tell you what, Kavanagh's kicked that. It's just ingrained in him. He's run on to try and get it back. He's at the back of this pack. Up high now, Bailey Turner. Over the top. Oh, crashing through. Cox bounces off with the ball in hands, and that is an own point kicked by Drew Schneider, who gets a stat for that. And now if he runs outside the square, he'll get another stat, Brett.
Well, I think he's been pretty good today, Schneider.
Yeah, I've been impressed with him. So they got one short. He just doesn't look. He goes down long, tired-looking kick, and it drops short. Unable to take it now. Around it comes, in a bit of trouble. Handballs it wide, and this is Wallace Wheaton. Oh, just overdone for pace. Oh, fortuitously, Duffy couldn't bounce up. He tries to go in again, stolen off his toes. Geez, this will be a running shot at goal maybe, or very unselfish. Cox again, and well done. I'll tell you what I'm impressed with. It'd be easy to see those two big sticks come up there by Alan Batchelor and have a ping, and he just lowered the eyes a bit and hit Cox probably 5 metres closer.
Yeah, it was very unselfish. Could have blasted away.
A few players looking very tight. There's a big space out here, but there's a player on his own facing the wrong way for Nhill, but covering the space. Cox runs in. Long time from hand to foot. That worries me a bit, that hand to foot stuff. If you leave it, the wider that gap is, the more opportunity there is for a blemish, and they've sort of kicked themselves out of this the last couple of shots. They've kicked 3 points for the quarter, along with 3 goals though.
Yeah, I think both sides are looking for the finish line here, Tony. They both look pretty spent.
10 minutes into or 11 minutes in, and it's a long way back to get that ball. So this could be, is it Bone? Yes, it is. So he looks up the ground, then he goes left, 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 very close to the boundary. Got a good shepherd there, but turned the ball over. They're going to load up again here, Brett.
Okay, so Ararat about 60 metres from goal. Here's Batchelor. Taylor.
Ooh.
Yeah, he's marked it. He's marked it. So he's gone forward, flicked forward out of the midfield, and now having an impact as a forward. He's having his third shot on goal in 4 or 5 minutes.
He's having a bit of a purple patch, isn't he?
He is. He's going to probably kick this goal. He's directly in front. Taylor.
Jeez, he popped it high.
Got so close to the man on the mark.
Yeah.
And I felt he did that last time as well, so it's probably something for him to take away from this game and work on. If he's going to flick forward, he probably needs to get a bit of a better kicking routine.
Just that finish, isn't it? So they have a bit of a bounce. He's run a long way, gets onto it, Bone, puts it right out. Just play it. The only player that didn't go up there stood still, kicks it in. Have a look at that from Riley Taylor. It's on the ground, raffle it. Another one there, that's the finish. Bento, I'm close to giving him BOG, but he's got to get that finished, doesn't he?
I think he's kicked 1 goal for this quarter.
Wow.
So
hello.
I'm a little bit frustrated with that.
We've got a supporter who's gone back to get the ball. And pops it back, and Drew Schneider gets a grab, doesn't... Oh, he's just hacked that a little bit, but he's racking up the touches. He's in a wet spot there to kick it from. Up they go. That's a very hard ball to get under, and good courage by Taylor. That was Riley Taylor. Alan Batchelor, he's had his moments today. Gee, the captain's calling for it right here in front of us. He's going to kick from 55. Geez, up it goes. Look, yeah, well done by Jeremy Weeks, who I reckon he's playing on the wing on this side of the ground. Came through, a little bit of an intercept there. Mills has gone a bit quiet. He's just sort of sharing that space, I think. He's got about 8 inches on Schneider there. In it comes. Ruckman contest. Oh, big tackle. Jeez, he went in aggressively there, the big Ruckman. Now they run it out. 1-2 handball. Over the top, a high kick makes it hard. Great use of the body. He's going to get caught, is he? Good shepherd there. Timely shepherd by McQueen, I reckon that was. And he's tried to run on here. Fred Stephen. Out too easy. Kavanagh dodges nothing. Gives it over. He's just stopped running on a little bit there, Kavanagh, but it's going to come out the back here to him if he's lucky. Luke Spalding, it is there, number 30 on the ground as well. Another ball up, Brett. See the midfielders coming in now. Like you said, it becomes an 8 on 8. Player charged into that. He read that. Oh, big tackle. The trouble with an extra player coming in is you might not have practiced and set up for it, so it's just a number that doesn't need to be there.
Yeah, it's just... I think it's okay if it's a 5v4, but when you get to 8v8, it's getting a bit ridiculous, you know.
Like this congestion.
Yeah.
We start to call this the rolling maul. So they're trying to set that one up free off the back here. Number 14 there.
Yeah, you probably need to drop back a little bit further.
Yeah.
Give yourself a chance to run. He's going to get it.
There he is.
But if he was just back a little bit further, he could have run perhaps just that little bit straighter.
And I'm not, look, they're that far in front of you, Ararat. But you say, okay, where's the on-field leadership? Sometimes the coaches can't do it from the box. Someone put their hand up and say, okay, just run up and get next to him. Go and tell another player to do it. You're allowed to do a little bit of that leadership stuff on the field. So if they're watching this tape back, turn the commentary off and make your own assumptions. But they've got the run on now. That's a great kick in. Mills, his work rate's been great. We saw that lead down here. He hasn't stopped leading and he gives them a presence, Brett. So they work so hard to get the ball down there. And it gets to here, 30, 40 metres out. Does it come back out? Or do we get a shot on goal? And Mills gives them that presence. He's kicked 6, probably given away 3 or 4. And he'd like one now in junk time. Almost, 15 minutes in. Very deliberate. They kick it high. So high, the umpire doesn't move there. When he's on, he's on. That is 7 goals for Tom Mills. Outstanding performance. 1 or 2 car horns go. That might be one of the parents of rallies, just blowing the car horn for him. Isn't that good to hear, the old country footy, Brett?
Might have driven over from Euroa, Tony.
Oh, jeez.
But, yeah, I think Mills would still like to cash in here. Like, he's kicked 7, and as you said, he's given a few away. But I think, for him, he'd be saying, well, I wouldn't mind something between 8 and 10.
I was just going to say, he's got probably another 10 minutes. Can he get double figures? He's, as you said, he's given some away. He could have kicked 10 easily today. No doubt about that. Very good player. Knows where to lead. Be interesting in a higher comp, how the opposition set up and cover the holes and congestion and how he works his way through that. But at the moment, great play. This is what I'm talking about with the ruckman. That's not too bad. No, Nhill. So they actually rove off the Ararat win. This player, great courage. Riley Taylor, round he goes, straightens himself up, and the big ruckman, he's not going to handball, he's going to kick. Oh, just that ball turned that little bit more than it should have when he dropped it. Players jumping across each other there. Player hurt on the ground there. So Nhill have got it, but they're 2 players down. Players have crashed into each other out there. Not a bad last quarter, Jared Darlenberg. Geez, he's put that into a dangerous position. The players have got up off the ground. Good handball there. Number 35 was Jordan Gurry. Out it comes. Oh, geez. Just put him under pressure, and Liam Albrecht has been fortuitously given free kick. Pretty good leaders game too, Brett. I've liked his game.
Yeah, he's really tried hard.
Yeah. Look at him. He's trying to work. Where can I give this to a teammate in best position or get some numbers around the ball? And this is what happens. They get it out. That's Kennedy, Toby Marshall it is. That's a hard kick. That's a high kick to a 50-50. There's a player there trying to tunnel ball it to himself. Might have been Baden Cosgrove. There's a little bit, just a couple of little bits of spite going on there in back play.
Yeah.
And Jared Darlenberg's come flying in there just to get to the, I think maybe get to the pack. So, boundary umpire waiting for it. It'll be the shorter, no, it won't be the shorter throw-in. This might be a normal. Is there anyone behind that? Yes, there is. Drop short. Nhill ruckman there clearly got hand the ball first. Austin Merritt. Now there's no one behind the 2 ruckmen. Now there is. So where's he going to put it? It's dropping short again. They pick up on it, Ararat. Over 2 handballs, quick. Can they get another one? Nhill player puts himself in. That's Darlenberg again. That is Jared with the man bun. Through it comes. on the ground. Hard for the ruckman. Look at the two ruckmen going for the ground ball, Brett. It's like rugby. Interesting. Two tallest blokes going for the lowest ball on the ground. Out it comes. Just a high hack kick out of it. Guess who? Mills puts it to ground. Might have been a set play so he could get that and handball it on. Then he'll run on and probably get it back. That is a great strong tackle. Manhandled by three players. Oh, in and out. Batchelor went. Didn't follow up there when it turned over. Come away there. Jeremy Weeks, a nice little chip in.
So Weeks has a ball. Liam Alp has a ball. He goes sideways, right out wide to the wing. So Jared Dallenberg kicks it, but unfortunately he's kicked it straight to David Flood in the interchange. So now, once again, Ararat decide to move the ball through the middle. Hutchison has it. Kavanagh just running off half back, links up, finds Cox, who's been really good today. He feeds off a handball to Taylor. Taylor's got Mills and Batchelor deep in the goal square, but goes sideways. Back now to Henry Shea, who's right on 50 metres directly in front of goal. He looks now for Mills, who takes a mark out in front. And Mills is probably 35 metres out, slight angle, kicking towards the jail end.
Took him 4 or 5 minutes to get the ball to him again, and this is what we talked about. Can he finish with the 8 to 10, get a real bag? Jail here, is there, Brett?
What's that?
A jail here, is there?
There's an old one up on the top there, Tony.
I might just put my hood on to get out of the ground.
So Mills has a shot, but it fades to the left.
Bit of a tired kick, wasn't it?
Yeah, and he looks a little bit tired. Could be a bit of cramps. So Ararat moved to 18-17, 125. Nhill 3 goals, 119.
A couple of Nhill players running, but many of them walking to position now. There's that short kick we talk about that they'll give you. Captain's got it. Comes around on the right foot now. Nice kick. Weeks. Captain runs on again. Calls for it back. Weeks, just that long loping running kick. Trying to take it on the chest is not going to work. It cleans up about 4 players there. Geez, he's had a very good last quarter. Jared Dallenberg, as that hook kick comes around. Can they bounce on it? McQueen's got it. Interesting looking left foot kick. They need another number down to come down and support when that ball hits the ground. That is a great pickup. They've got the numbers there. This is what we spoke about. McQueen again, who ran on. They're out into the open now. They're about 35 out. And that's a tired looking kick, but it's going to go through. Right foot or left foot. I don't know whether that's Bone or Albrecht there that's kicked that. So we'll just have to have a look there. I reckon that was the captain, was it? Albrecht. On the left foot. So well done there, actually. Albrecht's in the middle, so it would have been Bone, I reckon. Timothy Bone, number 6.
It's good to see him hitting the scoreboard late in the game.
Yeah,
you know,
very well done.
You know, they've kicked, 3 of the last 8 goals. So that's a little bit of a plus for them.
And it hasn't been the blowout it could have been at half-time. 13 goals. They've only kicked 5 to 3. Strong tackle in the middle.
Wingman holding his width again. Ball goes in low. Mills just sticks the hands up. He wasn't even looking at it at that time, and it just lobs straight into those big hands of his. So he's going to have another shot on goal, this time for his 8th. Had a shot a couple of minutes ago and it just drifted to the left-hand side. So hopefully he's learnt from that. And he's going to kick from about 45 metres, almost directly in front. So he's got 7 on the board, comes in now. And he has made no mistake. So that's his 8th for the day. And I'm sure he'd be satisfied with that, but he's back in his mind, Tony. I think he'd be saying, well, okay, I wouldn't mind just a couple more opportunities to hit double figures.
Boy, do we give him best on? He's played up the ground a bit as well, hasn't he? He sort of went up up to the wing at times, drifted back down. Hasn't been on ball, but geez, he's a real athlete and a real asset up forward. You look at the timing, he just knows when to lead and also where. So 2 important components, and that one there, just nice big put the Dukes up pack mark. So up it goes again, 24 minutes into the last quarter. Around they can they load up again? Alan Batchelor it is. Puts it to a set position, but Dahlenberg's had a great last quarter, and that is a fantastic kick from tired legs. Jeremy Weeks streaks long. He sort of falls sideways as he kicks it. But look at this, the numbers are there. That ball's beaten about 2 or 3. It might be called the ball a bowling ball today. It's beaten a few players on the ground. Oh, playing for it a little bit. Geez, that's a nice dive there. I'll give that 8 out of 10. Nhill player couldn't quite get it. Ben Christodoulou on that beautiful left foot. Mills again. Up it comes, down it comes. He pushes that forward. He's around on the left foot. Sees a player. Oh, just a last great spoil there by the Nhill player. Pops it up in the air. Makes it hard for everyone. Courage showing here. Oh, head high tackle. Suplex. Around it comes Cox running on. A glide by. Oh, they get it to the goal square. They can't. Oh, tired legs, and well done by Xavier Bone, I reckon that was. So they're going to catch him out here because a lot of the players are still down in that forward 50. So they've got it out to the captain here, Liam Albrecht. Nice kick. We've seen a bit of this today, Brett. Can they do a coast to coast? That's a wide kick, and they had numbers in the middle of the ground. So this player's going to have to tack and bring it back inside. Does well. Let's see the finish. You've done all the hard work, son. Kicks it to a 50-50. Kavanagh's there. Takes it, falls backwards, and he's actually caught. The umpire's put the whistle up to the mouth, doesn't blow it. Says, I'll have a ball up. So Kavanagh didn't get his own way there. See whether he hangs around the pack. He might drift off the back of this. They've got 2 free at the back of this too. The Rats. Desperation shown by Nhill. Over it comes. Can they keep the pressure on? Not quite. Player just bumped as he kicked. Nice kick into the middle. Now they're free, Brett, out on that far wing.
Okay, so they move the ball through the wing. Taylor, he's had it at least 35 times. Christodoulou zips back in, has a shot on goal, and Benny Christodoulou kicks his first goal for the club. He's going to be a great pickup for them as the year moves forward. So scoreboard now reads 20 goals 18, 138. Ararat to Nhill, 4 goals 125.
And they've all, you go through that list, they've all shared the ball, haven't they? Bailey Turner down there, and as I said, Matthew Hutchison. He did a lot of that heavy, grunty work in the second quarter, really got him going at times there, really shared around. Mills has been fantastic up forward, but Christodoulou, you're still learning the traits of the players around you. He's the left footer, so they've got to learn about him as well. Who plays where, what do they do with it. We're 27 minutes in. Over the back it goes, just through the fingers, but the Nhill player backs up. He's going to have 3 goes. That's a mighty effort, but gives it away, and they come forward, but they kick it a fair way off, and that's out of bounds on the full. But, geez, the poor old Nhill player couldn't pick it up, but pushed it forward to the centre forward position. Then Ararat pick it up and get a shot on goal. So we see the players had to go back out through there, and this is Drew Schneider hasn't stopped playing. They've needed him in 3 or 4 places today. So he plays on now. Tired kick again. Tired but effective, and this is our man that was in long sleeve, changed to short, Jordan Gurry. Geez, he gives it plenty of height. Nice last minute fist by Bailey Turner. Kavanagh gets it across. Brodie Griffin. This is what I talk about. Under pressure, Brett. Lift the eyes. Across it comes. Mills has got it again. Christodoulou it was who shared that ball, and Mills is just starting to, I think they're trying to get him maybe to the 10 goals. He might not get there now because the 28-minute mark, but how fitting.
Well, Ben Christodoulou gets a ball anywhere forward or centre, your eyes should light up as a forward.
So here he is. Tom Mills does hold the ball up a little bit. Nice follow through with the leg, and the umpire has said that is a sausage roll, or the fish I caught yesterday was a foot long. Either one. So Tom Mills finishes with 9, probably gave away 5, maybe 6, missed 1 or 2, so could have easily had 14, 15 goals today when you look at it. Final score 21 goals 18, 144 to 4 goals 1. 25. So a big win and a 7-goal last quarter. That's actually their best quarter for the game, Brett. And so some tired players in beautiful weather out here today, and we thank the Ararat Football Club for their hospitality, certainly. And just have a quick look at the goal scorers. So Darlenberg, Bone, Marshall and Jordan Gurry all got one each. And Taylor won. Now, Riley Taylor won, Ben Taylor won, Alan Batchelor won, Ben Christodoulou won in that last quarter, Jacob Bates with 3, Jordan Cox 2, Corey Taylor with 1, Taylor, no relation but 1 goal each, Bailey Turner with 2, and of course the big story of the day, Tom Mills with 9 goals and an outstanding game. Better players from each team, Brett Henderson.
Look, I think no doubt for Ararat. I think you've probably got to give it to Tom Mills in the end. I think we spoke about the fact that he had 15 odd touches at half time. I reckon he's ended up with 25, 26 touches as a key forward, kicked 9 goals. Benny Taylor was absolutely fantastic, out of that midfield. I thought Matt Hutchison was really solid. Cody Lindsay gave them first use of the ball into the forward line. And Kavanagh was absolutely outstanding in that first quarter and a half and really solid throughout the rest of the game. So I'd put him into the mix. And the one I haven't touched on, Jordan Cox, number 11, I thought he was a really good foil for Mills. 2 key forwards are going to be hard to handle. For Nhill, I thought, Lucas Dullenberg was outstanding. I thought Snyder down back tried really hard. I know he's had a truckload of goals probably kicked on him, but it wasn't his fault. I think he just was the last man in line. I thought he was really, really solid. Matt Kennedy did a couple of nice things. I thought, the captain was really solid in Liam Albright. And the other boy who I need to really mention was the other boy, Dullenberg, Jared. I don't think I've mentioned him. I thought he was really good and got better as the game went. And a quick little well done to Riley Taylor as captain of Ararat too. I thought he played a really solid game.
Yeah, he did. And interesting how you mentioned there, Jared Dullenberg, when I played in the country up in SA, used to play with the team, and he said, always have a good second half because that's what everyone remembers,
Absolutely.
So Jared Dullenberg, his last quarter. Interesting here, Ararat have gone in, and the Nhill players are in the middle of the ground, and addressing them was Leon Albrecht, and the coach now, Trevor Albrecht, has gone out, and probably, I don't think it's a dressing down or anything, but it's probably just some lessons about the day, talking. While it's all fresh in the mind, we can hear the Ararat song in the background, and Nhill make their way off the ground now, but just some talking out there on the ground and go home. The beauty with football, Brett, you get a week and you come back and it starts 0 all again next week, all refreshed. So first of all, thank you to all our viewers for watching our live stream to Dartfish, of course, and filming footy. We hope you've enjoyed it, Australia and worldwide, the viewing today. All the sponsors, the support of the Ararat Football Club. We've been very lucky up here inside the box. Our film operator and producers today. And of course, a special thanks to you, Brett, for travelling up and enjoying the game. And great to have your intel and your knowledge, whether it be coaching, playing, the feeling of the day, and so on. So we'd like to really thank you for your efforts today.
It's been a pleasure, Tony. It's been good to get here and have another look at football from a different angle. And if I was the Nhill boys, as you said, stay on the bike, keep pedalling. The wheel will turn eventually. But I've really enjoyed your company, filming footy, Dartfish, and our sponsors. And hopefully you can do it again down the track.
Yeah. So from myself, Tony Nhill, and from Brett Henderson, we hope you've enjoyed